Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
In the heat and dust of politics, perspective should not get lost. Watch me decipher hard politics through an academic lens, only on NDTV.
दुनिया के सबसे बड़े लोकतंत्र का वो चुनाव जो देश और दुनिया को बदलने की ताकत रखता है। सरकार बनाएंगे करीब 100 करोड़ लोग, जिससे तय होंगे पीएम, पॉलिसी और फ्यूचर। इस सबसे बड़े चुनाव की बड़ी बातों को डिकोड करने के लिए मेरे साथ होंगे देश के जाने माने एक्सपर्ट्स। देश के चुनिंदा शहरों से एनडीटीवी की सबसे बड़ी पेशकश बैटल ग्राउंड देखिए मेरे साथ सिर्फ एनडीटीवी पर, क्योंकि चुनाव मतलब एनडीटीवी।
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Elections क्या हैं?
Election is basically a reality TV show
जिससे बिग बॉस चुना जाता है।
the biggest festival of democracy.
मेला है मेला।
हमारी आवाज,
Youth की आवाज.
They make hashtags become a voting trend. They communicate their political views with memes. They turn their real ideas into reels. Youth makes elections a lot more fun, and we have just the right election shows for them. As India goes for its 18th general elections, join me, Arun Singh, for 18 Ka Vote only on NDTV. First-time voters, share your hopes and expectations from the leaders in the form of a video message. We'll feature select videos on NDTV.
36 lakh farmer families affiliated with Amul across 18,600 villages of Gujarat have pledged to vote with their families during these elections. I would also urge you to take this pledge and vote as a part of the democratic process of our country.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
The 2024 Lok Sabha polls are crucial for the future of this country. Having covered elections for 35 years, I hope to cut through the cacophony of a long, hot summer campaign and help to understand and decode the issues, the challenges, and finally, the outcome.
As citizens of this great nation, we have the power to shape its future. And one of the most crucial ways we can do that is by casting our vote. It's not just a right, for every citizen. It's a responsibility. A responsibility to ourselves, to our communities, and to our country. So, I urge all of you to exercise your right to vote. I always ensure that I fulfill this duty to our country.
आईपीएल का हल्ला बल्ला और सबसे शानदार कवरेज सिर्फ एनडीटीवी पर।
In our country, we choose our leaders, we decide who is going to be ruling the country, and it is something which is both a fantastic right, privilege, and we should also see it as our constitutional duty. So this election, I am going to be there, and I hope you all will join me in casting your vote too.
Data drives our understanding of any election. What does a dip in voting percentage mean? What are the big factors to watch out for this poll season? Join me, Amitav Tiwari, in a data deep dive only on NDTV, where we decode and simplify the data for you.
The biggest carnival of democracy, India's general election.
Prime Minister Modi makes a formidable bid for a hat-trick.
The opposition is trying to mount a united challenge.
And the southern parties are standing their ground.
As battle lines are drawn,
Join us on an exciting journey on the road to 2024.
Indian elections, a festival like no other. And NDTV covers elections like no other.
When India votes, you can count on us.
It's the essence of democracy, and we stand firmly behind it. We are thrilled to join NDTV's pledge.
It's the world's biggest festival of the power of a vote and the power of a citizen.
It is a day we must answer our call to duty as citizens of India.
We get this opportunity to determine how our country will be governed.
It is this constitutional duty through which we can make a difference in our nation's future.
And make India always a better place than it was yesterday.
I certainly plan to vote as long as I'm able to vote.
We are joining NDTV's Pledge to Vote initiative.
Let us make democracy stronger by going out and exercising our franchise. Jai Hind.
Friends, the first thing that really happened बहुत एक बड़े स्केल पे, it was the event of Apple. I mean, मेरे बर्थडे के दिन हुआ on 7th of May, Apple had their latest keynote जहाँ पे हमको मिले बहुत सारे नए products from Apple. Let's have a closer look और हम थोड़ा सा एक डिटेल में देख लेते हैं कि कौन से नए products हैं from Apple and what exactly are the prices of these products in the Indian market.
Just when we were wondering if Apple has forgotten about their iPad lineup over the Vision Pro, Apple ने अपने long overdue iPad lineup को refresh कर ही दिया. So without any further delay, let's get down to it. First up was the iPad Air. Apple ने for the first time ever iPads में 2 size options introduce किए with the iPad Air, the 11-inch variant and the 13-inch variant for people जिन्हें वो थोड़े extra screen real estate की ज़रूरत हो. Under the hood, the iPad Air is powered by the M2 chip, a significant.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24x7.
Hello, Moto.
Hello and welcome to the Southern View. At the end of Phase 4, all the action from Andhra Pradesh and Telangana up ahead, including a check of that ID check controversy in Hyderabad surrounding Madhavi Lata and an MLA getting into a brawl in Andhra Pradesh. But first, the headlines we're tracking this hour, including the breaking news that's coming in from Bengaluru. JDS Hole Narsipur MLA HD Revanna, father of Hassan MP Prajwal Revanna, facing rape charges, granted bail in a sexual harassment case. His judicial custody was to end tomorrow. Still no sign of the Hassan MP, who's yet to appear before the investigating authorities. Voting comes to a close in Phase 4 of the Lok Sabha polls. 96 seats in 9 states, including 1 in Jammu and Kashmir, voted today. A turnout of over 62% recorded so far and will go higher. Andhra gets past the 70% turnout mark as Telangana inches towards that number. With this phase, polling in all 5 southern states wrap up as the voting percentages get updated. A special panel up ahead on Andhra Pradesh and Telangana and who has the edge. First up, to breaking news coming in from Bengaluru, and this could be something extremely important in the case around Hassan MP Prajwal Revanna, and who is accused, remember, of sexual crimes, including that of rape. His father, JDS Hole Narsipur MLA HD Revanna, who was facing charges of sexual harassment, who was in judicial custody, which was to end tomorrow, has been granted bail by the People's Court here, which was hearing the case all through the day. Still no sign, though, of the Hassan MP, who's yet to appear before the investigating authorities. My colleague Pratibha Raman has been tracking this case very, very closely. She joins me live right now. Pratibha, give us the details that you're picking up from the court in terms of the rationale for the bail and what the public prosecutors and others argued in this case, because there were many who were confident that there wouldn't be a case, this bail wouldn't be granted in this case.
Well, in fact, a vociferous set of arguments that was presented by the defense, maintaining the fact that even though there was a kidnap case that has been registered against HD Revanna, there was no use of force, and that section 364A would be invalid, and that it could only be applicable under section 363, which means kidnap with no use of force as well there. And the other set of arguments that were presented by the prosecution maintained the fact that HD Revanna is a very influential person and that a person of his stature could influence the victims. But since most of the charges were lying with respect to Prajwal Revanna or going against Prajwal Revanna, and no clear charges that were presented according to the statements that have been made by the witnesses against HD Revanna, this has been the order that has been presented by the judge, where he did say that conditional bail would be granted to HD Revanna, and the conditions laid down by the court are as follows. 2 individuals must stand as surety for HD Revanna. 5 lakh surety bond must be provided to the court. And the third is a direction from the court on not to destroy any evidence. Like you mentioned, yes, his custody would end, judicial custody would end tomorrow, and that all eyes are on when HD Revanna would move out of jail tomorrow. Back to you, Veera.
That's right, Pratibha. Remember, what you're saying is that there is a distinction between the charges against Prajwal Revanna, which include rape and one of only sexual harassment and kidnap here against HD Revanna, the Hole Narsipur MLA. But the question would be remains on when Prajwal Revanna will be before authorities. Very quickly, Pratibha, given that it's post 6 p.m., he will not be released today. When do you expect HD Revanna to be released from jail? Have you heard anything from the authorities? Very briefly.
Well, according to the defense or the senior counsel who's been representing HD Revanna, they have been mentioning that HD Revanna would be walking out of jail tomorrow, and now that all procedures would close by now, and that it would be impossible for HD Revanna to walk out of jail today. And plus, the custody ending tomorrow, so all the procedure as well as the protocol would end tomorrow, and HD Revanna would be finally walking out of jail tomorrow. The timing is still not confirmed, but then the procedural work is already underway. Back to you, Veera.
Right, remember, it would be an important event to look at too, and especially as far as this case is concerned as well. Thanks very much there, Pratibha. We'll keep a close track of the HD Revanna and the Prajwal Revanna case here in Bengaluru. But for the moment, to sudden storm havoc in Mumbai, metro and air services have been disrupted. The Brihan Mumbai Corporation has said that around 100 people are believed to be trapped under hoardings that have fallen because of sudden gusty winds and storms. There are several injured as well because of those hoardings. There you see those pictures from Mumbai of dust storms as well. My colleague Paras Dama joins me live now from Mumbai. Paras, give us the latest. Those seem extremely scary, those pictures that we're playing out on our screens right now.
This is a very unfortunate incident which has happened in the evening because of the dusty wind which has happened, the dust storm which happened in the evening at 5:36 o'clock. This is the biggest hoarding in Ghatkopar area of Mumbai which has fallen on a petrol pump. There are 100 lives who is still inside. The 35 life has been saved by doctors and the fire brigade officers, but still look at this hoarding. This is big hoarding which has fallen on a petrol pump, and there were more than 100 people who was there inside. Still firefighters are trying to save them, and a rescue operation are still underway. You can see the bulldozers, JCB, all are here. The police, the Mumbai police is also here. Fire brigade officers are trying to get people out from here. If you can see the space, very narrow space, it is difficult to walk here. Still people are trapped inside. They are trying. Fire brigade are trying to get them out. Look at that, the operation, how it is happening. There is a trawler inside the this hoarding which has been trapped. You can see here how fire brigades are trying to help them. This is a very bizarre situation which has happened continuously. People are trying. Look at that car which has got smashed because of this big hoarding which has fallen. Look at this big car. Look at this. Still fire brigade and Mumbai police are trying to help people who are inside. Look at this situation. This is a bizarre and very, very dangerous situation which has happened. A big poster, banner fallen on a petrol pump. Anything would have happened. Still there are many lives who is inside, and they are trying to save them. Continuous NDRF has also reached the spot. NDRF team is also trying to save them. Still this whole rescue operation is continuous. Now to cut this entire billboard, they had bring some gas bottles, and also now with the help of JCB and that gas cutter, they will cut this entire part, and they'll go inside. Fire brigade and NDRF will go inside and try to save more people as possible. You can see inside there is 1-2 people who are trying to rescue some of the people who is trapped inside. So this is the situation which has happened, not in one place in Mumbai. There are 2-3 places where this type of bizarre situation has happened because of the stormy wind which happened, the dust storm which happened for 15 to 20 minutes. Still the weather department has alerted the people not to go near sea for 4 to 5 hours because anything can happen. The warning has been given by the forecast department. You can see the fire brigade officials are trying their heart out, and they are trying all the situation and trying to help them.
Right, Paris, extremely disturbing. I really hope those inside are safe there. Those obviously disturbing pictures there. We'll keep a very close track of it. Giant hoarding falling off on a petrol bunk, leading to several people trapped underneath. We don't know the exact number there. Paris Dama reporting there from Mumbai's Ghatkopar area. We'll keep a close track of it. This is a developing story, a major humanitarian story, which we'll have to keep focusing on. Quickly, we'll dip into live pictures coming in from Varanasi of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's roadshow in Varanasi a day before he files his nominations. Those pictures on your screen are from Varanasi. He'll file his nominations tomorrow to a constituency he's represented since 2014. Hat-trick this time on your screens there. That 6-kilometer roadshow that's underway. The Prime Minister garlanded a statue of educationist and social reformer Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya to start with. The roadshow started from outside the Benares Hindu University, one of the gates of it, to leading to one of the gates of the Kashi Vishwanath temple is underway. Remember, Varanasi goes to polls in the last phase on the 1st of June. The Prime Minister there will be filing his nomination papers tomorrow in Varanasi. Those pictures coming to you live from Varanasi. Well, shifting focus to our top focus this evening, phase 4 of the Marathon 2024 Lok Sabha elections is done. 379 Lok Sabha seats have completed voting and 164 to go in 3 more phases. Amongst the 96 seats in 9 states that went to polls today were Telangana's 17 and Andhra Pradesh's 25, along with 175 of its assembly seats. By and large, peaceful polling, except isolated instances of stone pelting reported from Andhra Pradesh. Voting percentages in Andhra is just inched past the 70% mark as for the latest figures, but that will keep getting updated over the next few hours. Telangana too expected to inch closer to that 70% mark. We'll get you the latest figures as soon as they're updated. But 2 big controversies, one in each state, were sparked off by 2 candidates. And both raised some extremely serious and disturbing questions. The first controversy to the one in Telangana, a video, the one on your screens, of BJP's aggressive Hyderabad candidate Madhavi Lata checking the IDs of Muslim women waiting to vote, instructing them to unveil their burqa to reveal their faces, led to a sharp exchange and accusations of violating the privacy of the women and breaking the model code of conduct. Madhavi Lata, though, defended her action and argued that as a candidate, she had the right to check the IDs of the voters without face masks to curb bogus voting. However, cases under sections of the IPC and under sections of the Representation of People's Act were filed in Hyderabad. The controversy has led to a sharp exchange on social media. These are some of the reactions.
मैं कैंडिडेट हूं और एज पर लॉ कैंडिडेट हैज अ राइट टू चेक द आइडेंटिटी कार्ड with the face without the face mask. I'm not a male, I'm a female, and with lot of humbleness I've only requested them, can I please see and verify with the ID card. And if somebody wants to make a big issue out of it, that means that he's scared of it.
Well, what do we make of this controversy? Who's on the wrong? Who's on the right? Waris Pathan, spokesperson of the AIMIM, joins us this evening along with Kishore Poreddy, spokesperson of the BJP. My colleague Uma Sudhir, who's been tracking this case very closely, also joins us there. She's been tracking all the developments through voting day in both Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. My first question to you, Mr. Kishore Poreddy, it's the aggression with which the women were asked to unveil their burqa is being accused as an invasion of privacy. Was this an intimidating tactic?
Good evening. Actually, just last month, there were more than 2 lakh votes that have been deleted from the electoral rolls because they were all fake. And this was in April 2024, just 1 month before this election. And there have been complaints, like in a single house, there were more than 100 votes. I mean, this is the background of the scenario here. There's a rampant fake voting that's been happening, and these duplicate votes, fake votes itself is an example of, is an indication of how it works here. More than poll management, electoral roll management is what happens in the whole old city. So if we want free and fair polls, elections, then obviously you want to reduce fake. And in that case, if you cannot identify the voter, you have the ID card, but if you cannot identify who is who that's coming in and voting in that name, because a lot of people, I've heard Muslim women.
The question is twofold. Who does it? Who is supposed to do it? Should it be the authorities? Should it be done in a sensitive way? Waris Pathan, the BJP is saying that this was only purely an effort to prevent bogus voting. Your response?
Well, let me tell you, in the morning we received several complaints and there were videos that went all over the country and people were sending it to us showing that the BJP's Lok Sabha candidate from Hyderabad, Madhavi Lata, is going to booths and she is asking the women who are wearing hijabs and burqas to unveil it, show their face, show their ID cards. Is this allowed? Is she an agent of the election commissioner or she is the candidate? You are not allowed to, you are not supposed to do that. If at all she is suspected something, she could have very well called the police or the agents to make inquiries. But no, she wanted to create an environment of hatred. She wanted to suggest that, okay, I don't want you to vote. Their intention was to stop the Muslim women from voting. That is what as we got the complaint, we registered an FIR against them in the Balakpur police station and the case is registered, booked against her. But is this fair and fair election? We want a fair, this is a democracy. See, we enjoy the festival of democracy, the elections come. The constitution has given right, but if you feel that some bogus voting is going on, there is an election commissioner. You could have very well gone there and registered your complaint, but no, she took it on herself, and not only that, she again went to other polls and she was not even listening to the police or to the polling agents there. She was abusing them. There are videos which are viral all
before I get to Uma Sudhir,
showing that
that's an
she
important
abused
point
the
that you
police
make there, and I
officers,
want
she abused
Mr.
the polling
Poreddy to
agents.
respond
So
to it.
that's
It's
not
the
allowed,
question
sir.
of way it was done, Mr. Poreddy. That's the objection. That it's the way that it was done. That's the objection, Mr. Poreddy. Quickly before I go to my colleague Uma Sudhir.
Firstly, we have to notice that the authorities had to check it. The police and the election commission officials have to check it, but we have seen no place because they were also under fear of reprisals. So this has been happening for ages. It's not new today. So the candidate took it upon herself. Maybe it's wrong, maybe it is right. I mean, the law will take its own due course and we'll figure it out later on. But the issue is not just the candidate checking the faces, but the issue is, are there fake votes and are there fake enrollments, more than 2 lakhs, have more Hindu votes been deleted, claiming that they are dead. Is that true?
No, that point is taken, sir. The issue is whether the candidate should be doing it at that stage. Uma Sudhir, what are the authorities telling you?
The law will take its own course, ma'am.
Okay, first let me set the record straight on this voter deletion that has been told about time and again. One must point out that the Election Commission is the one who deals with the electoral rolls, and yes, this complaint about the list being, needing to be sanitized was something that was raised by the Congress, and the very similar list was given by Madhavi Lata, and it's the Central Election Authorities, not a local party, that is dealing with it. And in fact, deletions only happen not with the concurrence of the local CEO here, but of the Central Election Office. And the 2 lakh that they are speaking about, I have also spoken to the Hyderabad District Election Officer, who has pointed out that 1.79 lakh voters were deleted from the list after the Hyderabad assembly elections, after the Telangana assembly elections happened. This is in Hyderabad alone, out of which 25,000 are dead voters, 35,000 duplicate voters. 1 lakh had asked for their votes to be shifted to nearby polls. 18,000 voters were deleted from the list. So this is something that the Election Commissioner has done, and for the BJP to say that we don't trust this would be unfair on the officers of the Election Commission. That's one thing. Second is, yes, live telecast, web telecast, 100% web telecast of all the polls is happening inside and outside the polling booth, and this is exactly to create a sense of trust, transparency and credibility in the system. So it's unfair to point fingers at the list itself. The third point about Madhavi Lata, the district election officer, Mr. Ronald Rose, has very clearly said that no candidate is allowed to go around checking the authenticity or the veracity of any of the voters. That's the job of the polling officer. If you have a suspicion, you point it out to the polling officer and they will carry out the due process. You're right, Veera, it is an intimidatory tactic and it is an intrusion of privacy. Are we saying that when women come to vote, they cannot be wearing the burqa? That's also a question that needs to be raised.
That's right. Uma, I just want one last word from Waris Pathan and then possibly from Mr. Poreddy as well. Mr. Pathan, this is again a reflection that intimidation, either side, brazenness is the reality of Hyderabadi politics. Yes or no?
Yeah, well, I agree with what Uma Sudhir just now said, that in fact you suspect somebody, there's a polling agents are there, police is there, you should go lodge and complain. But here the thing was because Muslims were wearing burqa, they wanted to unveil them, they wanted to show their face in the name of the garb of just asking them for their identity. And this creates an atmosphere among the people that if you go there, they will remove our veil, they will remove a burqa. And this is the only intention was, their only intention was to see to it that the polling does not take place and the percentage of polls go down. This was their intention, but subsequently the polling went ahead and we went. Now we have want the election commissioner, what is he doing? He should take steps. We have already registered an FIR. FIR is registered at 2 police stations, which I have learned recently. And so the election commissioner must take action against such kind of people who are trying to, this is not less than rigging the polls. So action must be taken against her.
Mr. Poreddy, very quickly,
strict action should ensure that free and fair poll takes place all over the country. You cannot just go and do this kind of things out of
a more sensitive approach to this, very quickly.
So if we go by
final word from Mr.
logic,
Poreddy, should there have been more sensitive approach?
Could have been, but if the authorities had taken it upon themselves. But here is a very specific question. If a woman asks someone wearing a burqa to show her face, even then you have an objection. Imagine the situation. The booth level agents, there is only one person from each party. And if it's a male, if they had asked to show the face so that they could verify the voter, then it would have been a different controversy and much bigger controversy. So what does the MIM spokesperson say? Does he say that anyone wearing a burqa, whether it's a male, female, Hindu, Muslim, anybody can wear a burqa?
No,
and they can go in and they need not be identified and they can vote?
Sure. I think I think the question is how it is done, who is supposed to do it. The election authorities are the ones who are supposed to do it. We'll have to leave this right here. We'll keep a close focus on it because there's another controversy in the neighboring state of Andhra Pradesh. Stay with us, Uma, as I let Mr. Waris Pathan and Mr. Poreddy go. A. Shivakumar, an Andhra Pradesh YSRCP MLA from Tenali, was caught on camera slapping and getting into a brawl with a voter at a polling booth in Tenali. Those pictures on your screen have led the Election Commission ordering a detailed inquiry. The MLA later claimed that the voter was inebriated and had used caste remarks against him. However, other reports suggest that the argument was when the voter insisted on the MLA not breaking the queue and wait for his turn to cast his vote. Joining us this evening, Uma Sudhir there with us, Professor Jyotsna Tirunagiri, National Spokesperson of the TDP, Abdul Hafiz Khan, YSRCP MLA from Kurnool, Sumit Bhattacharjee, Chief of Bureau of the Hindu in Andhra Pradesh, joins us as well. We'll get to who has the edge in Andhra Pradesh after this quick conversation on this slapping incident. Mr. Abdul Hafiz Khan, was it brazen use of power by the MLA on the at the voting booth, trying to exercise his muscle power over an innocent voter? Well, I can't get through to the YSRCP guest. Professor Jyotsna Tirunagiri, isn't it true that intimidation is part of realities? Yes, go ahead.
I think, it's pretty obvious here. In this particular case, it's a high-handedness and the arrogance of that particular MLA and MLA candidate. The worst part is the sitting MLA and the MLA candidate from YSRCP in this particular election. And you can see here, the common man just asked him to follow the rules. Just asked him to follow the rules. And that's the problem for them. You're supposed to be following the rules. And that's the biggest problem for you. And it's just not the MLA hitting him. You then again find, you can then again see his men literally thrashing that particular man. And in fact, afterwards, he comes up with a very, I can say it as a stupid excuse. I'm sorry to say this, but he comes up with a stupid excuse saying that that particular man was inebriated or some excuse he gives. Does it give him a right to hit him?
We don't have the YSRCP.
No, and then
we don't have the YSRCP voice to defend, so we will try and put that question across to them. But Uma Sudhir, just explain the incident in the context to us.
See, this, according to the FIR that's been lodged, what it says is that this man, this MLA came along with his family and in fact had already cast the vote. It is when his supporters also decided to jump the line that this man who was standing in the voting queue objected to it when the MLA comes across and slaps him, and all that is caught on camera. Whether there was any provocative remark that's made, that's something that's subject of investigation. Of course, he has also said that there was a casteist remark made. All that will be subject of investigation. But what is very clear is that this MLA has behaved in a manner certainly not befitting any individual, leave alone a political leader, and therefore cases have been booked against the MLA as well as his supporters. But what I would say is, Veera, at the beginning of the show you said that largely peaceful. What we have seen actually is a lot of clashes that happened between the TDP and the YSRCP on the ground, and it has been such a bitter campaign, and I think the message comes right from the leadership. They have not really shown the way to their cadre about which way this goes, but that's the reason why we see so much of clashes that were happening on the ground. And this case of high-handedness towards a person who may have been a supporter of another party and may have even provoked this man, that is subject to investigation once again, I would say. But yes,
Uma, really
the fact that this man
in
in a very high-handed manner thinks he can go ahead.
I'm really sorry. I just want to get Sumit Bhattacharjee one quick word on this. Sumit, leave all this aside. Who seems to be having the edge as far as the alliance versus the YSRCP battle is concerned?
It shouldn't be right to predict now, but as far I understand that there are two options to it. One is that there's a clear air going that there could be a sweep by the alliance. Others says that it could be a neck and finish where YSRCP may scrape through. So these are two things that is going on as in the air as a rumor, but prediction wise, I would wait for the June 4th to see who would win through. But it's going to be a tough battle for both of them. I presume it's going to be tough.
Okay. All right, it's a tough battle. You say, Uma Sudhir, 10 seconds quickly. How do you see this election having panned out, having covered both states?
Very, very high voltage, high octane campaign it has been, but unfortunately they don't seem to have engaged the audiences, rather the voters, enough, and that's why we have not seen the kind of voter turnout that we should have had. Yes, 60% plus may be good, but last time Andhra Pradesh had 80. Hopefully both these states will go to 70 plus, but once again it's Hyderabad, these kind of urban centers that are actually letting us down, and I find it quite an irony because the old city where you actually have even fewer voter turnout than the 45% that the Hyderabad city overall reports. That's where Madhvi Lata's comments came, and that's where one more reason for people perhaps to feel intimidated and not come.
I wish we could get Jyotsna Thirunagiri as well to give us a response, but I know what your response is. You're going to say that the alliance obviously has the edge. I'm completely out of time. Unfortunately, we didn't have a YSRCP MLA to defend this one. Okay, you're saying you're winning big. Let's see what the YSRCP says. Obviously, they're going to say the same thing. That's all we have time for on the Southern View this evening. News and updates continue right here on NDTV.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
Co-present. Get the magic of the best working for you now.
Link your payment cards once, collect rewards forever.
The 18th Lok Sabha elections.
As always, NDTV has its ear to the ground. With the biggest pie of 80 seats, all eyes will be on Uttar Pradesh.
Will the Troika ensure the Modi umbrella unites all?
It is the first election in Naya Kashmir since the scrapping of Article 370.
Will the same number of lotuses bloom in the desert, or can Gehlot lend a helping hand to India?
With BJP having Max here with the only pillar standing of Chhindwara fall.
Can Didi once again withstand the saffron tide? Will BJP stay strong in its northeast bastion?
Jhadu ka jadoo or Modi magic? Can Congress gain lost ground in Punjab?
Will Revanna Reddy be able to increase the Congress strength in Telangana this time? And in Andhra Pradesh, will the Jagannath be able to stop Chandrababu Naidu and Pawan Kalyan?
Can BJP win back its only stronghold in the south? Or will it be a Congress consolidation?
Can BJP make a dent in the Dravidian den?
The 2024 Lok Sabha polls are crucial for the future of this country. Having covered elections for 35 years, I hope to cut through the cacophony of a long, hot summer campaign and help to understand and decode the issues, the challenges, and finally, the outcome.
After 5 years, we are again getting an opportunity to exercise our right to vote. This is a right which has been earned after a very long and hard struggle by our great leaders. We must not waste this opportunity. I have pledged that I will vote. I have appealed to all my family members and friends to come out and vote for the development of our great nation.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch
Hello ladies and gentlemen, you're watching NDTV. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be filing his nomination tomorrow morning in Varanasi. He's in fact leading a grand roadshow there today. He started by garlanding a statue of Madan Mohan Malviya at the Banaras Hindu University. He will also be visiting the Kashi Vishwanath temple today. This is the third time the Prime Minister is seeking a term from Varanasi. The roadshow and the renomination in many ways reflect the Prime Minister's gratitude for the acceptance of him as the MP from UP, a state critical to India's politics. It's also a show of strength and confidence that the Prime Minister has centered the city of Kashi around, announcing Vande Bharat trains and several railway projects, and also the Kashi corridor, and even initiatives such as Kashi Tamil Sangamam that are core to his beliefs in civilizational unity of the country. Remember, the Prime Minister won the Varanasi Lok Sabha seat in Uttar Pradesh in 2014 and also in 2019. In 2019, he won the seat with a margin of over 4 lakh votes. Let me also tell you a little bit about the history, the political history of Banaras or Varanasi. Since 1957, the BJP has won the seat 7 times and the Congress 6 times. The BJP has a near-perfect record since 1991, just losing the seat once to the Congress party in 2004. Kashi has also been core to the Prime Minister's social justice outreach. In fact, this is where he was on the 647th birth anniversary of Sant Guru Ravidas, inaugurating many developmental projects and also unveiling a statue of Guru Ravidas, a special outreach to the SC community. The Prime Minister in the last 10 years has worked on several development and beautification projects of Varanasi, emphasizing on its growing influence as a center of faith and tourism. He has also inaugurated projects like the Freight Corridor, the Varanasi-Delhi Vande Bharat Express train, and also the most important Kashi Corridor project. My colleagues Maria and Tanishk continue to bring the mood from ground in Varanasi. And also we have Manisha Priyam, who is a political analyst who will help us understand the importance of Varanasi in the Prime Minister's political projection and also his politics and governance. Tanish, to you first, how is Varanasi looking like today? How is the mahal set for tomorrow, which is going to be an important day for the party? The party is relying so much on the popularity of the Prime Minister. So today, take us through all that the Prime Minister did today. What did people tell you?
Well, of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is hugely popular in this city of Varanasi, also known as Kashi. And you were just asking, what are the people thinking about? So just to know that, I'm outside this Kashi Chaat Bhandar. Here, it is a very famous, iconic shop of Varanasi, famous for its tomato chaat, and there are, of course, people here. First, I would like to show you the flavor of Varanasi here. You can, of course, see delicious chaat being prepared, and people of Varanasi, and, of course, other tourists also who've come here from different parts here to, of course, catch a glimpse of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, who are holding around 5 kilometer long road show. But there are people here, I'd like to speak to them. आपका नाम?
मनोज कुमार पाठक।
पाठक जी, आप कहाँ से आए हैं?
गोरखपुर।
मतलब योगी जी की?
जी, योगी जी के क्षेत्र से।
तो आपका क्या कहना है? बनारस को लेके आपको क्या कहना है? आप पहले भी आए होंगे बनारस, विकास आपको दिखता है बनारस?
जी, 2014 के बाद जहाँ तक आप देखेंगे, बनारस नहीं रहा। बनारस पूरे विश्व में एक कीर्तिमान स्थापित कर दिया है। शंकर महादेव का मंदिर है यहाँ पे, और महादेव बाबा के यह पहला स्थान है जो पूरे विश्व में।
मोदी योगी की जोड़ी के, क्योंकि यूपी में बहुत
मोदी एक अंतर्ध्यान, वो क्या कहते हैं उनको, कहें भगवान के रूप में ना कहें उनको, लेकिन भगवान का एक नुमाइंदा मान सकते हैं। लेकिन हमारे योगी जब से साथ में आए हैं, योगी और मोदी की जोड़ी जब से हुई है, हमें तो लगता है भारत ही नहीं पूरे विश्व में ऐसा कोई नेता, ऐसा द्वितीय कोई नहीं है।
चलिए, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। See, of course, people here, the popularity is as such, a lot of people compare him. But what has been, what has been the impact on local people here? आपका नाम?
मेरा नाम ब्रिजेश है।
आप कहाँ से हैं?
बनारस से।
अब तो बनारस में क्या फर्क हुआ है पिछले 10 साल से? बनारस एक बनारसिया कैसे बताएगा इसे?
10 साल में सड़कें जो है, पहले कंजेशन बहुत ज़्यादा था, अभी ज़्यादातर जगहों पे सड़कें जो है चौड़ी हो गई हैं।
लेकिन लोग भी तो बढ़ गए हैं।
हाँ, तो टूरिज्म की जब से काशी कॉरिडोर बना,
टूरिज्म से कैसे फायदा हुआ है?
टूरिज्म से बहुत फ़ायदा हुआ है। अब मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ। पहले मंडवाडी स्टेशन था, बहुत ही नॉर्मल स्टेशन था वो। अभी आप जाके देखिए, वो स्टेशन इतना ज़बरदस्त VIP स्टेशन हो गया है, और उस स्टेशन के आसपास एटलीस्ट 40-50 अच्छे होटल खुल गए हैं। अब सोचिए उससे कितने रोजगार उत्पन्न हो रहे हैं और शहर का कितना विकास हो।
आप क्या बोल रहे हैं?
मैं पैसे से देखता हूँ, बनारस का लोकल रहने वाला हूँ। पहले आप यहाँ आते थे, ये सड़क पर ये गोबर होते थे, गंदगी होती थी। आज की गलियाँ देख लीजिए, आगे देख लीजिए, ये अच्छी गलियाँ बन गई हैं। स्टेशन है, यहाँ 5 स्टेशन है, काशी है, कैंट है, मडुवाडी है, मुगल सराय है, और एक स्टेशन और है। ये स्टेशन आप जाके देखिए, ये एयरपोर्ट जैसे हो गए हैं। और जहाँ जो विपक्ष बोलता है बनारस में कुछ नहीं हुआ, 80 घाट जाके देख लीजिए, पहले कुछ नहीं था, मोदी जी ने दिए
तक नहीं था। अभी तो सिविल लाइन पूरे शहर में 2017
डेवलपमें हुआ है, आपके कहने से
हुआ है।
लेकिन और भी तो कई सारे मुद्दे हैं लोगों के, जैसे महंगाई हो गई, बेरोजगारी।
देखिए, महंगाई की बात है,
डेवलपिंग कंट्री है, हर वक्त महंगाई रहेगी। कोई पार्टी ये दावा नहीं कर सकती कि महंगाई खत्म कर देंगे। अगर आप डेवलपिंग कंट्री हैं तो किसी कीमत पे महंगाई खत्म नहीं हो सकती, लेकिन वो विद इन इनकम रहनी चाहिए। हाँ, बिल्कुल बढ़ रही है। आपको अगर
बनारस की है?
हाँ, बिल्कुल।
आपके हिसाब से क्या विकास हुआ पिछले 5 साल 10
पिछले 5 साल में यहाँ विकास के सारे काम रुके हुए थे। बनारस ही नहीं, पूरे पूर्वांचल की रोड आप जाकर के देख लीजिए। मैं खुद अपनी गाड़ी से ट्रैवल करता हूँ अपने काम के लिए। 10 घंटे लगते थे गोरखपुर से बनारस आने में, आज 4.5 घंटे में आप नौसड़ा से निकलिए और बनारस के अंदर इंटर कर लीजिए। समझ गए, ये टाइमिंग है। विकास आपको हर एरिया में दिखेगा। कौन सा एरिया पूछिए, बताएं मैं आपको। हर एरिया में विकास।
भावुक हो गए आप। मुस्कुराइए, एक बार मुस्कुराइए।
अरुण कुमार।
आपके हिसाब से आप बनारसी पान खा रहे हैं?
हम बाबतपुर से आ रहे हैं, बाबतपुर एयरपोर्ट से। वहाँ पे पहले सड़क नहीं थी, कि आज जाके सड़क देख लीजिए। वहाँ से आने में आपको बनारस आने में आधे घंटे लगेगा, 20 मिनट लगेगा।
So of course you see Vasudha, a lot of A lot of people are so of course enthusiastic and excited. Over to you.
Thank you, Tanesh. So many voices there, all of them talking about the Prime Minister and what he means to the constituency of Varanasi. Manisha ma'am, the constituency of Varanasi has been the stage for two electoral battles, at least, of two Prime Ministers, Prime Minister Modi and, of course, former Prime Minister Chandrasekhar, who won this seat in 1977. No, it's also one of the 11 seats in Uttar Pradesh that has never been won by Samajwadi Party or, for that matter, Bahujan Samaj Party. Tell us, what does Varanasi mean in the larger context of UP politics and national politics, and the Prime Minister contesting from there for the third time? What does this mean for his own image, projection and politics?
So many things, but to the people of this country, Varanasi has immense historical significance. It's a 5th century BC city. It's time invariant. It's considered a sacred geography for the Hindus, whether to the north of the Vindhyas or to the south. It's that city that unites the Indian population, the majority Indian population especially, in its belief and its worship. But remember also, it's been the seat, as you could see, of the Ravidasi sect, of Kabir, and the Ramayana, etc. It's been the seat of the writing of the Ramayana. Many noted literary figures, Madan Mohan Malviya, one of them, but my own personal favorite, Annie Besant, who started India's first independence movement with the Home Rule League, etc. All of these histories, and it's a city where history moves in a scintillating way with a surging crowds on the streets. And that's a city that Prime Minister Modi has transformed. And if you go there, many of them will tell you, as you could hear right now, that he's our MP, he's our MLA, he's also our local corporator, and meaning thereby that the Prime Minister looks at not just the grand view of what a member of parliament should be doing, but also the minuscule of what the city needs. In many ways, people could argue with you, but it's a city that's adopted Prime Minister Narendra Modi as their own. They'll tell you where he stays. Someone spoke about the station at Maduwadi, the DLW guest house where the Prime Minister says, and what dhoti he will wear. Now all of these, Banarsis are very famous for talking at small pan shops and chaat shops. Your reporter's rightly standing at the tomato chaat place. He can go to many others, I can tell him, and he will find that people simply gather to talk, to gossip. And at this point of time, it is Narendra Modi who's the center of the conversations. And I can tell you, after he comes, the atmosphere there transforms. And that's what's going to be. The city loves its Prime Minister, the city loves its MP, and they believe he's more than what their MLA could be or corporator could be. The city is him and he is the city.
Right. Manisha, also tell us, how do you rate the Prime Minister's visits to his own constituency in the last 10 years, his treatment of his constituency, because he has often gone there, and a few days ago he was talking about how he is a Banarasi now, and in fact there was an emotional moment in an interview where he talked about how Ma Ganga has adopted him. So what is his, the way he talks about his relationship with Varanasi or River Ganga, how do you see that playing into the psyche of people, the imagination of people, as somebody of Narendra Modi, as someone who understands India and its culture?
So I wouldn't know. I've never had the fortune of meeting the Prime Minister or speaking to him about Banaras, but I spend a lot of time in the city, around the university that he goes to very often, and I can tell you what I gather, whether on the high streets or to ordinary people standing at every corner. They feel that he's addressing a lot of their issues. The person who you spoke to already told you a lot of the broadening of the roads, but many mega events that have come. The Tamil Samagam was one such, held in December last year, that brought in a lot of tourists. The redoing of the Kashi Vishwanath temple, which means that the regular footfalls are just so many, and everybody believes that they must be in Kashi. And to that extent, it's a place that now attracts devotees from the world over. Now there are things that require change, that require modernization, but many of those areas, I believe that the city believes that the Prime Minister is going to look at, and a lot of its issues are about congestion, but they were also about the lack of business and the lack of people coming in. And I think those have been addressed big time. Some major renovations still remain. The fact that the Prime Minister has been able to get many Prime Ministers and Premiers from around the world and many dignitaries, and the city is loving the focus that it gets right now.
Well, thank you so much, Manisha Priyam, for joining us. The PM's grand mega roadshow in the city of Varanasi a day before he, files his nomination from Banaras. Moving on, today was also the fourth phase of elections, Lok Sabha elections 2024. Polling with this is over in the southern states. Telangana, in fact, 17 states have voted. Andhra, 25 states have voted. The other southern states got done in the earlier polls. In today's episode of Poll Science, we'll try and understand how the South could have voted and who really has the edge there.
प्रधानमंत्री जी, बहुत सारे आंकड़े लगाए जा रहे हैं कि जो ईस्ट इंडिया है वहाँ पे बीजेपी का अपस्विंग है. बंगाल की बात कर लें या फिर उड़ीसा की, आंध्र प्रदेश और तेलंगाना में भी, तो आपका क्या असेसमेंट है?
एक तो राजनीति के अलावा अगर मैं कहूँ तो शायद मेरा 2013 का भाषण है, और तब मैं पीएम कैंडिडेट भी नहीं था, कि भारत का विकास करना है तो हमें पूर्वी भारत को विकसित करना चाहिए, पूर्वी भारत को ग्रोथ इंजन बनाना चाहिए. पिछले 10 साल में मैंने लगातार हिंदुस्तान के पूर्वी भारत में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, एजुकेशन, हेल्थ, ऐसे हर प्रोजेक्ट पर बल दिया है. इस चुनाव का जहां तक सवाल है, जबरदस्त आंधी उत्तर, दक्षिण, पूरब, पश्चिम सब दूर है. पूर्व में इस बार परिणाम ज्यादा मिलेंगे पहले की तुलना में, और मैं मानता हूं देश के लोगों के लिए ये चौंकाने वाला. जैसे तेलंगाना, आप कल्पना नहीं कर सकते वैसा परिणाम तेलंगाना में मिलेगा, वैसा आंध्र में मिलेगा, वैसा उड़ीसा में मिलेगा, वैसा बंगाल में मिलेगा, पूर्वी भारत में मिलेगा, बिहार हो, झारखंड हो, आसाम हो.
Hello and welcome to Poll Science. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the south of India, particularly Telangana, will see an unprecedented number of seats going to the BJP this time. Now, this is particularly interesting as the battle for south of India for 2024 got over today. The verdict is safe there in those EVMs. 25 seats of Andhra Pradesh and 17 seats of Telangana voted today. Tamil Nadu with 39 seats voted in the first phase. Kerala with 20 seats in the second, and Karnataka in the second and third phases. We thought in this episode of Poll Science will help you wrap up the entire 2024 election campaign in south of India. So bringing in our data expert Amitabh Tiwari. Thank you, Mr. Tiwari, for being here and for speaking to us. So how do you see the Prime Minister and the Home Minister and so many BJP leaders talking about the party winning big in south of India today? Because in 2014, the BJP won 21 southern seats, 19 in 2009, 18 in 1999 and 2004 and 20 in 1998. Its tally in these states has remained below 7 even in the elections before that. So it's quite a challenge for the BJP to crack this South India code.
Yeah, so actually in 2019, BJP is the single largest party in south of India. It won 30 odd seats, more than the Congress party. So the disconnect here is that the south of India sends 1/4 of MPs to parliament, but out of BJP's tally, only 10% of the MPs are coming from South India. So that's the bridge which BJP top leadership wants to neutralize. Now, if we see Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, which have gone to polls recently, in Telangana, if you see, BJP got 4 seats on a 20% vote share, whereas Congress party got 3 seats on a higher vote share. Now, with the weakening of BRS, BJP hopes to increase its vote share and seat tally there. That's what the scene is. In Andhra as well, it has tied up with Chandrababu Naidu and Pawan Kalyan. So there also their hopes are tied to the fortunes of TDP. However, whichever party wins there is likely to back the NDA if they, or rather the BJP, if they have majority on their own. That's what we've seen. So let's see how this pans out for the rest of the phases.
So talking specifically about Andhra Pradesh, because it 25 seats voted today and the state is also voting for assembly polls, does Andhra Pradesh also have a tradition of voting in a split way, split votes like Odisha did in 2019? And this is a state, like you rightly pointed out, BJP, TDP and Jan Sena party have come together. In 2014 they did manage to do well, but of course BJP lost the seats that it won in 2014 in 2019. So how is the dynamics of Andhra Pradesh looking like, and how how challenging is it for this combined to defeat someone like the YSRCP or Jagan Mohan Reddy, which has 22 seats and a major part of the vote share?
Yeah, so essentially if you see the vote share, it is like 50 and 40, 50% versus 40% of TDP. BJP and Congress have just 1% each, and Jana Sena had 5 to 6% vote share. So it's a simultaneous election. In a simultaneous election, normally people who go to the polling booth press the same buttons both while electing the MLA and while electing the MP. That's what we've seen in Andhra. In 2014, TDP won the Vidhan Sabha elections and won the maximum seats in Lok Sabha, 17, whereas YSRCP won 8. Whereas in Vidhan Sabha, when Jagan swept in 2019, 151 odd seats, they won the maximum seats in Lok Sabha as well, 22 out of 25. Now, even if you compare the absolute number of votes, they are almost identical. So, example, Jana Sena got 17 lakh votes in Vidhan Sabha and 18 lakh votes in Lok Sabha. So this election is rather predicated on who is going to win the Vidhan Sabha elections. If in the case of Vidhan Sabha elections, now there are many issues which we've seen, the state capital issue. However, TDP is largely banking on unemployment and lack of development, which is the issues which the India bloc is banking on a nationwide level. And Jagan is banking on this solid women vote bank, which he has built over the years, and the Labharti factor. Again, he has numerous schemes, including cash income support to women, and that's what he is banking on. TDP, on the other hand, is also banking on Congress, which has put up a spirited fight to eat into the SC/ST minority vote of the YSRCP, and the family is also now split sort of, because she is also contesting from Kadapa. So if Congress is able to improve its vote share by even 2-3%, that's likely to come at the cost of YSRCP, and TDP, Jana Sena and BJP votes, because they have been partners earlier. Jana Sena in 2014 had supported, though they had not contested, and with the consolidation of Kamma and Kapu votes, BJP hopes that TDP wins and automatically it wins the maximum seats in Lok Sabha.
That's very interesting. So in Telangana, the situation is quite different, because the BJP won 4 seats in 2019, but in 2023 it was the Congress party that put out a very spectacular performance. It did seem to a lot of us that the BJP, sort of did not do as well as it expected, but still it managed to increase its vote share. It won 7 seats. Can we safely say that this time it's going to be a BJP versus Congress fight? Because in the last few days we saw the BRS heading for a collapse, with so many MPs moving out of the party.
Yeah, so BRS lost almost 10% vote share in the Lok Sabha elections, or rather in the Vidhan Sabha elections compared to Lok Sabha. BJP tripled its vote share in 2019 Lok Sabha election vis-a-vis the Vidhan Sabha election. So it hopes that if it's got 14% vote share in Vidhan Sabha, it will get much more, because of the national character of the elections and the popularity of Prime Minister Modi. Now, the SC/ST minorities vote is the vote which Congress party was able to snatch from BRS and was able to form the government. Now the Congress party is also riding on the implementation of its guarantees, like in Karnataka. So Telangana and Karnataka are the 2 states where the Congress party have their high hopes on. BJP hopes that if it becomes bipolar, because as you mentioned, many MPs and MLAs, or rather many MPs have left from BRS and due to the arrest of Kavita, if it weakens further, what could happen is that it has a chunk of anti-Congress vote and it has a chunk of votes from SC/ST and minorities. That SC/ST minority could move to Congress, but this anti-Congress vote which BRS has could move towards the BJP, and the contest becomes bipolar. And in any bipolar election of Congress versus BJP, BJP has a psychological edge because of the overall national strike rate of more than 90% in a BJP versus Congress battle.
That's very interesting. So, you know, in the assembly elections, and the last three assembly elections, if you look at data in 2011, 2016 and 2021, BJP won just one seat in Kerala in 2016, you know, and 4 seats in Tamil Nadu. We are talking about the assembly elections here. And in Tamil Nadu, it was in alliance with the AIDMK. In Telangana, of course, the BJP backed one seat, you know, while losing 117 in 2018. So in Andhra Pradesh, the BJP, of course, has managed, you know, has bagged 2, 9 and 0 seats in 2009, 2014 and 2019. So how critical is it for the BJP to perform well in the you know, Lok Sabha elections this time to improve its assembly tally? Because you're also pointing out that these two are connected.
Yeah, so it is fairly important because it gives confidence to the cadre and the second-rung leadership that the party can do well in south of India apart from or outside of Karnataka as well. However, one thing which we need to understand is that BJP benefits from the fact that the opposition is not united in south of India. Each state has different regional parties which are in the play. So Andhra has YSRCP and TDP, Tamil Nadu has DMK, AIADMK, Kerala has CPM and Congress, Karnataka of course BJP versus Congress, and Telangana has BRS, Congress, BJP. So all this opposition is not united. That's why it emerges as the single largest party even with 30 number of seats in south of India. So that's what helps the BJP in Vidhan Sabha elections, of course, which will happen in the next course of 5 years. We could see BJP bettering its position, riding on its improved performance in south of India.
So the existence of regional parties not aligned with the Congress necessarily also sort of, you know, changes the way BJP is perceived in the south of India. So basically the north-south political divide narrative that has been rampant post the 2023 assembly elections, where the Congress succeeded in Karnataka and also in Telangana, while the BJP dominated the Hindi heartland, winning the states of Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. That did spark speculation on how the BJP is going to you know, get this South India game right, and that is something that will be keenly watched. As of now, at least for the South Indian states, it is over to the 4th of June. So thank you for watching Poll Science. We'll be back tomorrow with a fresh episode.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
Voting ends for Lok Sabha Phase 4 polls. Phase 4 polling is 62.3% turnout till 5 p.m. 96 seats across 9 states have voted. In J&K, it's around 4 of Lok Sabha polls. Violence mass West Bengal on polling day. Stone pelting in Bardhaman, Durgapur seat. Dilip Ghosh and Kirti Azad are key candidates from this hot seat. YSRCP Chief Jagan Mohan Reddy's MLA shames democracy. MLA's brazen assault on voters in Andhra. The voter had objected to the MLA jumping queue. He got slapped. And YSRCP MLA has said that drunk voter had made casteist remarks. Rain and massive dust storm hits Mumbai. Dust storm hits Mumbai airport operations. Flight operations resume in Mumbai.
पूरे देश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी और एनडीए को 400 पार कराने का दृढ़ संकल्प है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने देश को एक गवर्नेंस का मॉडल दिया है। देश की विकास यात्रा में महिलाओं की शक्ति एक अतिरिक्त शक्ति बनेगी और वो परिणाम को गति देगी।
I do hope all of you are going to go out and cast your vote, and especially the youth of the country. And the youth and the corporate citizens, people who work in our urban centers and companies. You know, we are the, in many ways, we actually are the generation which is going to build the country. So I do hope all of you get out and vote. It is not just our responsibility, but it's also our core participation in building the future country of our dreams. And I am today pledging to vote. My vote is in Punjab on 1st June. So I'm pledging here to vote, and I do hope all of you do the same. So I'm going to just sign this pledge to vote.
हम अक्सर गाना सुनते हैं, कभी मैं इधर चला मैं उधर चला, जाने कहाँ मैं किधर चला। गाइस, हो सकता है आपको पता ना हो, बट यू नो व्हाट, गूगल ऑलमोस्ट नोज प्रिसाइजली वेयर हैव यू बीन। क्योंकि अगर आपने लोकेशन हिस्ट्री को ऑन करके रखा है, सो यू कैन क्लियरली गो एंड लुक फॉर योरसेल्फ कि गूगल को आपके बारे में क्या क्या पता है। यू सिंपली नीड टू गो टू गूगल मैप्स। वहां पे जब आप अपनी प्रोफाइल फोटो पे कोने में टैप करते हैं, यू गेट एन ऑप्शन ऑफ टाइमलाइन, एंड वहां पे जाके यू कैन सी ऑन अ डेली बेसिस कि गूगल ने आपको कितना ट्रैक किया है, और एग्जैक्टली प्रिसाइजली गूगल नोज वेयर हैव यू बीन। आप वहां पे जाके थोड़ा सा एक सुपरफिशियल ओवरव्यू ले सकते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल, इन द लास्ट ईयर आपने कहाँ कौन से कंट्रीज में, कौन से स्टेट्स में ट्रैवल किया है, और इनफैक्ट यू वांट टू डिलीट अ सर्टेन एंट्री फ्रॉम देयर, यू कैन डू दैट। और अगर आपको लगता है दैट योर लोकेशन शुड बी कंप्लीटली प्राइवेट जस्ट फॉर यू, तो यू कैन क्लियरली टर्न ऑफ द लोकेशन हिस्ट्री एज वेल, बिकॉज अगर आप ऑफ नहीं करेंगे, गूगल वुड डेफिनेटली नो आप कहाँ जाते हैं, कितना टाइम स्पेंड करते हैं, और वापस अपने घर कब आते हैं।
The biggest carnival of democracy, India's general election.
Prime Minister Modi makes a formidable bid for.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24x7.
Hello, Moto.
Good evening. Our big focus on elections in this bulletin at 8 p.m. where we saw BJP's blitzkrieg in Varanasi with the roadshow led by Prime Minister Modi today. Grand preparations made by BJP in Kashi as PM is set to file his nominations tomorrow. We'll also focus on other election-related stories, including the polling booth fracas from southern states. But first up, let's take a look at the headlines. Prime Minister Modi's Kashi Carnival roadshow ahead of the third Varanasi nominations. Polling complete in 70% of the seats for the Lok Sabha elections this time around. Elections wrap up in southern states. Phase 4 sees voter turnout at 62.3%. Neta's Dadagiri captured on camera in Andhra Pradesh and in Telangana. Democracy disgraced amidst the polling. Checking drive to slapping voters. Shameful acts caught on camera. JDS MLA HD Revanna, father of Hassan MP Prajwal Revanna, facing rape charges, granted bail in a sexual harassment case. His judicial custody was to end tomorrow. Still no sign of the Hassan MP, who is yet to appear before the investigating team. And storm havoc in Mumbai claims 3 lives, injures 59 others. Civic body says that there are still several people feared trapped under hoarding. After a few hours of disruption, airport operations resume in Mumbai. Maharashtra government orders high-level probe. Right, but we begin the show with Varanasi and pictures from Varanasi there, where Prime Minister Modi, in fact, led a massive roadshow just a day ahead of the nominations that he's going to file tomorrow. In fact, the roadshow is still on. You can see these are live pictures coming in from Varanasi, where Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, of course, flanking the Prime Minister there on the side. This is a mega show of strength by the BJP. And this, as I mentioned, just a day ahead of the nomination. My colleague Maria Shakil is on the ground there in the thick of things. Maria, over to you now.
Yes, Sonima, 14th May 2014 was when Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived here. And in fact, that was the day when he became the Prime Minister. His government was sworn in. When Prime Minister Modi arrived in Kashi, he was the BJP's prime ministerial candidate, a 3-term chief minister. Today, it's a long journey that Kashi and Prime Minister Modi have traveled together. It's been 10 years. Mr. Modi will be filing his nomination papers tomorrow, which is again 14th of May, a significant day. Today, it was a lot of euphoria on the streets of Kashi. Behind me is Madan Mohan Malviya statue. I'm standing right in front of Banaras Hindu University. And it was here that his road show began. Those visuals are on your television screens. The euphoria that we saw in the road shows, the entire Kashi was out there to greet Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Mr. Modi is not someone who has been visiting like an MP who visits once in a blue moon. He is a member of parliament representing Kashi and has been really invested in Kashi. Kashi in the last 10 years has seen massive transformation. Whosoever you speak to here, they talk about those stories. And of course, as journalists who have seen Kashi before 2014 and now, we are seeing a massive transformation and transition as well. But first up, before he came here, Prime Minister Modi was holding a road show in Patna, and I had the opportunity to speak to him. Let's listen in to the issues that Mr. Modi highlighted while speaking during the course of his election campaign in Patna. He is the tallest mass leader that India has seen in many decades. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is today in Patliputra. And in this epic battle, he has decided to give us time amidst his busy schedule. प्रधानमंत्री जी, NDTV के दर्शकों के लिए बात करने के लिए बहुत-बहुत शुक्रिया. हमारे 6 चैनल के जो व्यूअर्स हैं वो अभी आपको देख रहे हैं. आपने देश भर में कार्यक्रम किया. पटना की वाइब्स क्या कुछ अलग है?
हिंदुस्तान के करीब-करीब सभी राज्यों में मेरा जाना हुआ और मैं कह सकता हूं पूरे देश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी और एनडीए को 400 पार कराने का दृढ़ संकल्प है. बिहार ने भी उसमें कई नए रंग भरे हैं. बिहार ने उसमें एक नई ताकत दी और इस प्रकार से ये अपने आप में पूरे देश का जो माहौल है वही माहौल बिहार का है.
प्रधानमंत्री जी, बहुत सारे आंकड़े लगाए जा रहे हैं कि जो ईस्ट इंडिया है वहां पे बीजेपी का अपस्विंग है. बंगाल की बात कर लें या फिर उड़ीसा की, आंध्र प्रदेश और तेलंगाना में भी, तो आपका क्या असेसमेंट है?
एक तो राजनीति के अलावा अगर मैं कहूं तो शायद मेरा 2013 का भाषण है और तब मैं पीएम कैंडिडेट भी नहीं था कि भारत का विकास करना है तो हमें पूर्वी भारत को विकसित करना चाहिए. पूर्वी भारत को ग्रोथ इंजन बनाना चाहिए. पिछले 10 साल में मैंने लगातार हिंदुस्तान के पूर्वी भारत में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, एजुकेशन, हेल्थ, ऐसे हर प्रोजेक्ट पर बल दिया है. इस चुनाव का जहां तक सवाल है, जबरदस्त आंधी उत्तर, दक्षिण, पूरब, पश्चिम सब दूर है. पूर्व में इस बार परिणाम ज्यादा मिलेंगे पहले की तुलना में और मैं मानता हूं देश के लोगों के लिए ये चौंकाने वाला. जैसे तेलंगाना, आप कल्पना नहीं कर सकते वैसा परिणाम तेलंगाना में मिलेगा, वैसा आंध्र में मिलेगा, वैसा उड़ीसा में मिलेगा, वैसा बंगाल में मिलेगा, पूर्वी भारत में मिलेगा, बिहार हो, झारखंड हो, आसाम हो. यानी एक प्रकार से मैं देख सकता हूं कि चुनाव में भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पास जो है उसमें कई नए एरिया अधिक प्लस करेंगे
ये कैचमेंट एरियाज की आप बात कर रहे हैं, प्रधानमंत्री जी बिहार का आंकलन करिए, क्या लग रहा है बिहार में क्या होगा?
बिहार में हमारे साथियों से मेरी बात हुई, पहले हमारी एक सीट हम हारे थे, शायद इस बार हम एक भी नहीं हारेंगे।
अभी हम जहाँ पे खड़े हैं वो चरखा समिति के पास हैं हम। आप बताइए, जब आप आते हैं बिहार तो आपको क्या क्या ख्याल आता है?
वैसे मैं संगठन के काम के लिए यहाँ बहुत आया हूँ, अनेक क्षेत्रों में मैं गया हूँ, और मैं काफी पुरानी चीजों से जुड़ा हुआ रहा हूँ यहाँ।
आप इस चुनाव को रेफरेंडम के तौर पे देखते हैं या गवर्नेंस मॉडल की लड़ाई देखते हैं?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने देश को एक गवर्नेंस का मॉडल दिया है। देश ने कांग्रेस का मॉडल देखा है, देश ने लेफ्ट का मॉडल देखा है, देश ने मिली-जुली सरकारों का मॉडल देखा है, और देश ने पूर्ण बहुमत वाले भाजपा एनडीए का मॉडल देखा है। और वह गतिशील सरकार देखी है, निर्णायक सरकार देखी है, रिस्क लेने वाली सरकार देखी है, और उसके आधार पर हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं।
प्रधानमंत्री जी, महिलाओं की संख्या वहां पर बहुत है, महिला वोटर, आपने एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी बनाई अपने लिए, क्योंकि जो आपने किया, इज्जत घर दिया, उज्ज्वला योजना, बहुत सारे राज्य में भी महिला सेंट्रिक स्कीम है, तो आपको लगता है वो महिला वोटर आपके साथ है?
एम्पावरमेंट ऑफ विमेन, ये मेरा कमिटमेंट है, और मैंने G20 समिट में एक लीड लिया है, विमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट, और इसके लिए हमें महिलाओं को अवसर देना चाहिए। परंपरागत हमारी जो चीजों में महिलाओं को जोड़ते हैं, उससे ऊपर उठना चाहिए। जैसे हमने गांव में ड्रोन दीदी बनाई, जैसे हमने आर्मी के दरवाजे खोल दिए, जब हमने एयरफोर्स में पायलट बनाए, हमने सीमा पर हमारी बेटियों को भेजा, सियाचिन में हमारी बेटियां जाकर के देश की रक्षा कर रही है। तो मैं एक साइकोलॉजिकल चेंज में सफल हुआ हूँ, और देश की विकास यात्रा में महिलाओं की शक्ति एक अतिरिक्त शक्ति बनेगी, और वो परिणाम को गति देगी।
और आज का दिन बहुत खास भी है, मदर्स डे है।
धन्यवाद।
Let's try and get some voices of BHU. These are students of Banaras Hindu University. What are their thoughts about brand Narendra Modi? What do they think are the issues that will impact their choices, their decision to vote? What are the important issues for you as a student?
First is education, and second is business sector and entrepreneurial journey. Whatever they have covered their policies and their things after their government.
आपको लगता है जो 10 साल सरकार रही है प्रधानमंत्री मोदी की, और 10 साल वो काशी के सांसद भी रहे हैं, तो काम हुआ है?
हाँ, देखिए, मैं प्रयागराज की रहने वाली हूँ। मैं अभी 2022 में यहाँ पे आई हूँ एज ए स्टूडेंट। तो मैंने जो वहाँ पे भी देखा है और जो यहाँ पे भी देखा है, दोनों में लगभग समान अंतर रहा है, क्योंकि प्रयागराज की भी स्थिति वैसी ही थी जैसी यहाँ की थी। क्योंकि यहाँ पे हम देखेंगे कि पहले इसको मतलब बोला जाता है कि यहाँ पे बहुत कंजेस्टेड रोड्स रहते थे, और यहाँ पे गलियों को लेकर के बहुत ज़्यादा है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे बहुत सारे घाट से, तो वहाँ बहुत प्रॉब्लम होती थी जाने में। उसके बावजूद भी यहाँ का जो डेवलपमेंट है वो ऐसा है कि आप यहाँ पे टूरिस्ट अब इतने ज़्यादा बढ़ गए हैं, और साथ ही साथ यहाँ पे टूरिस्ट बढ़े ही हैं, और साथ ही साथ यहाँ पे जो और जैसे कि हमारे स्टेडियम बन रहा है, हमारे टेम्पल्स के कॉरिडोर बना है, हमारे जितने भी यहाँ पे सारे मॉडिफाई हुए हैं घाट, उसकी वजह से यहाँ पे टूरिस्ट अट्रैक्शन बहुत ज़्यादा है।
अट्रैक्शन बढ़ गया। आप बताइए, क्या काम हुआ है काशी में? आप एज अ स्टूडेंट कैसे देखते हैं?
हाँ, मैं पटना से हूँ, और मैं 3 साल पहले इधर आया हूँ। पहले आज से मैं 8 साल 10 साल पहले भी एज ए 12th स्टूडेंट जब था तो यहाँ घूमने आया करता था, बट ऐसी व्यवस्था नहीं थी। मतलब रोड्स बहुत कंजेस्टेड थे, मैं खुद काशी विश्वनाथ दर्शन नहीं कर पाया था। बट मैं अभी बोल सकता हूँ मैं पिछले 3 या 2 सालों में 8 या 10 बार जा चुका हूँ, क्योंकि इतना अच्छा बन गया है रोड, सारा इतना अच्छा डेवलपमेंट हुआ है, कॉरिडोर जब से बना है, तो दैट हैज़ ऑल्सो बिकम वन ऑफ द डेस्टिनेशन वेयर टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशन वेयर वी कैन ऑल्सो एज ए स्टूडेंट वी कैन ऑल्सो गो एंड रिलैक्स ओवर देयर, do our meditation and prayers and everything.
So you do meditation and prayers. You were making an important point while we were chatting up about long-term vision of Mr. Modi. What exactly do you sense in with regards to jobs?
मैम, जॉब्स के रिगार्डिंग में ये बोलना चाहूँगी कि 2 एस्पेक्ट्स हैं हमारे पास, एक प्राइवेट एक पब्लिक। तो पब्लिक का जो है हमारा, वो हमें एक्चुअली, क्योंकि डिजिटलाइजेशन हो रहा है, तो हमने मेंटालिटी पे काम करना है, क्योंकि एक कंफर्ट जोन होता है पब्लिक सेक्टर में जहाँ हमें देखने को मिलता है, क्योंकि ये बहुत पुराना है, तो उसमें अगर मॉडिफिकेशन चाहिए, अगर NEP आई है तो उसको भी लागू करने के लिए हमें उनको पहले मॉडिफाई करना होगा कि आप पहले अपनी मेंटालिटी को चेंज करो। अगर आप जॉब के लिए, अगर आप, होता है ना कि अभी आप उनकी बात करेंगे, अगर जो हॉकी के खिलाफ हमारे सबसे बड़े जादूगर हैं, उन्होंने बोला कि एक बहुत बड़ा अच्छा उन्होंने बोला था, हिटलर ने उनको ऑफर किया था कि आप हमारे यहाँ हमारे कंट्री से खेलो, तो उन्होंने एक चीज़ बोला था कि ये नहीं है कि मेरा देश मुझे क्या दे रहा है, मैं अपने देश को क्या दे रहा हूँ, ये विजन लेकर चलते हैं।
So long term vision की बात हो रही है. Thank you so much for speaking to us. We have two guests also joining us, Amitabh Tiwari and Neerja Chaudhary. Neerja, coming to you first. 10 years ago, Prime Minister Modi, when he arrived here, he made several promises, and today when he is seeking a third term, the people of Kashi certainly are saying that it's on the basis of his report card. So he has delivered, and it's palpable on the streets of Kashi.
Yeah, I also went there in 2014 and saw that roadshow, Maria, you referred to. And the crowds coming out, you know, what you're seeing, at least we are seeing pictures, you're in the midst of it all. But at the end of 10 years, for any MP, he's the Prime Minister, for any member of Parliament, even to have that kind of mobilization, people turn out to greet you, is an achievement. You remain popular. And this Prime Minister at the end of 10 years does remain popular. You can agree with him, disagree with him, that's a different story. So that is one part of the story. The second is that he adopted Uttar Pradesh. He comes from Gujarat and he has adopted Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh is very vital in Indian politics. 8 Prime Ministers of India have come from Uttar Pradesh. And of course, Mr. Modi is seen as a UP wala today, as much as a Gujarati. And of course, this kind of mobilization is also there is strategy behind it. Tomorrow he'll file his nominations. And, you know, the impact on other seats of UP, the impact on seats in Bihar that are still to go to polls. And he's spoken about the importance of Bihar to you yesterday. So all that is very strategically thought out, this big extravaganza and mobilization today in Varanasi. Not that the people of Varanasi want him back, but also the impact that it will have in the seats around.
And Varanasi, and while you're speaking, Neerja, we have those visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi performing puja at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. You know, this temple economy, Amitabh, let's talk about that. Kashi Vishwanath corridor has increased the footfalls in Varanasi. Then similarly, in Ayodhya, you have the Ram temple. Then you have the big temple in Ujjain. So this is part of Mr. Modi's, you know, the plan that we say that this is about the cultural connect and at the same time ensuring that this generates jobs.
Yeah, so if you look at tourism and compare it with other industries, the per $1,000 generation of jobs is the highest in tourism. So what has happened is that due to the transformation of the Kashi Vishwanath temple and this construction of the corridor, Kashi is today now amongst the top 5 cities in terms of tourism in India, top 5 to 10 if I am not wrong. And the number of people, the footfalls has increased significantly. What it does is that it creates a multiplier effect in the entire, not only the town of Kashi, but in and around areas also. So the entire Purvanchal, and since now there is the new Ram temple also, so it's sort of a tourism corridor for people who want to visit Kashi. So you can now also visit Ram Mandir temple and Varanasi in one go in 2 to 3 days tour. So this entire corridor between Ayodhya to Varanasi also will see or has seen a lot of development. The shopkeepers, the people who are selling flowers, etc. for the mandir, the priests, the pujaris, the cab walas, the hotels, everything, correct, has seen an increase. And that's how he remains popular.
And the kind of transformation as journalists that we see here, Neerja and Amitabh, is unimaginable. 10 years ago, when we used to cover Mr. Murli Manohar Joshi, and at that time, Kashi was known for its, potholes and crowded lanes. Today, it's decongested. The ghats are cleaner. Neerja, this aspect, when you say that yes, politics is important. It is timed and the location is strategic. It's a temple town. It will have an impact on Purvanchal and also in the neighboring Simanchal. But the fact is that there has been development. The fact is that there has been infrastructure push.
Yes, otherwise people will not remain with you if they don't see things being done visibly. I agree with you. The ghats are so, they have been cleaned up. And, in December, a few months ago, I was there. And I have written about this also, that 5 years ago when I was there were 3,000 people or so at the Ganga Ghat for the Aarti, the Shashwamedh Ghat. This time when I went in December, there were 75 to 80,000 people there, and large number of them young, who come with their children, who come in their holidays. They wanted to come to Varanasi and be there. So yes, it has become not just a tourist destination. Of course, there is that element, and that is a big element. I think somewhere it is also linked to Hindu identity, the sense that many Hindus feel, that this is the place we must go to, and they identify with it. So I think from the point of view, again, you may agree with it, not the civilizational project that the Prime Minister has talked about, the RSS has talked about, the BJP has talked about, 1,000-year project. What is happening in Varanasi is an integral part of that project.
Yes, that civilizational push, certainly. But Amitabh, the last word to you, and as we build for tomorrow, because tomorrow is 14th of May. 14th of May 2014 was when Mr. Modi took oath. What does that date mean for you? Why has the BJP chosen that date for his nomination?
Well, because the date, as you mentioned, is an auspicious date when he started his journey in national politics. So date is fairly important, and he's a man of records and numbers. So they play a significant role. It's a matter of optics as well. And it also shows that he has completed 10 years of his journey in national politics, as well as his connect with the people of Varanasi has lasted for this long 10 years. And Nirja ji was talking about the aspect of tourism, which is now cultural tourism essentially, correct? So it is a project of cultural tourism. Infrastructure is visible development. So what infrastructure does, it's also a showcase model. Like PM Modi has developed this constituency as a model constituency now, correct? So it is also for many other MPs and MLAs to replicate this sort of model in their constituencies, as well as infrastructure is visible development, and that is visible to people, correct? So that has a significant impact. Of course, it has a multiplier effect on economy, and that we are clearly seeing in Varanasi, because this belt is also a landlocked belt, correct? So this belt is a landlocked belt where industries, where there is a lack of industry, so tourism perhaps becomes the only sector which can help people find employment and generate jobs.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Amitabh and Nirja, thank you so much. And tomorrow is when Prime Minister Narendra Modi files his nomination papers. He's staying the night here in Varanasi. The entire city has turned saffron. It's more than just the color of the BJP. I think this is a reiteration of the politics of the BJP here. And also, the emphasis is on what all has been done for Varanasi and the rest of India. Tanima returns on the other side. That's all from me.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
Co-present.
Get the magic of the best working for you now.
Link your payment cards once, collect rewards forever.
After 5 years, we are again getting an opportunity to exercise our right to vote. This is a right which has been earned. after a very long and hard struggle by our great leaders. We must not waste this opportunity. I have pledged that I will vote. I have appealed to all my family members and friends to come out and vote for the development of our great nation.
In the heat and dust of politics, perspective should not get lost. Watch me decipher hard politics through an academic lens, only on NDTV.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Welcome back. Now turning our focus now to Lok Sabha elections. With phase 4 over and done with, 70% of Lok Sabha seats have completed the polling process. 379 Lok Sabha seats have in fact witnessed elections so far. The voter turnout, if we talk about phase 4 now, is at 62.9%. This being the first phase in which we've seen the voter turnout actually improving in comparison to 2019. Of course, this is provisional data at the moment. The final turnout data will come in from the Election Commission later, but nonetheless, a positive sign as far as voter turnouts are concerned. The key focus today was on Andhra and Telangana. Out of the 96 seats which went to polls today, 42 were from these two states alone. With the polling being completed today, elections have wrapped up for all 130 seats in the south. Now, polling is also complete in all 29 Lok Sabha seats in Madhya Pradesh. There was also simultaneous elections as far as assembly elections are concerned in Andhra and Odisha. All 175 seats in Andhra Pradesh voted today for the assembly polls. And in Odisha, there was the first phase of assembly elections with 28 seats in witnessing voting today. Now, we'll turn our focus to our specific states that we are looking at in this bulletin. First, to Bengal, where multiple incidents of violence were reported. In Bengal, 8 seats for voting in the state today, but the most prominent incident of violence was reported in Bardhaman Durgapur Lok Sabha constituency, where BJP and TMC workers had a face-off, a physical clash, in fact, was seen over there. In fact, my colleague Saurabh Gupta was on the ground and captured the incident, and he joins me now from Bardhaman Durgapur. Saurabh, poll violence is nothing new to Bengal, but you were caught in the middle of this one. Tell us what you saw.
Well, this was a sensitive booth, and the BJP candidate Dilip Ghosh, who is contesting from Bardhaman Durgapur against Kirti Azad of the Trinamool Congress, had shared a few very cordial moments, earlier in the day when both of them came together. They met each other while crossing paths and shook hands and even exchanged a hug. But things went south post that when supporters clashed earlier in the day. And then when we arrived at the Kalna Gate area, Dilip Ghosh was on his way to a sensitive booth. Now, as he entered the narrow bylanes of that sensitive booth and that sensitive area, there were slogans of "Go Back," and these were presumably Trinamool supporters because they were raising slogans that seemed to be from there. But obviously, Dilip Ghosh continued, and then of course these supporters got more aggressive. And then what we saw later was that there was some kind of sloganeering. And when the convoy was leaving, At that time, of course, there was some stone pelting and an attack with a stick. And in that, of course, several security forces, cars were damaged, but also some media cars were damaged. And one of the security men, received an injury on his head because of a stone. He had to take shelter in the car that we were traveling in. And then, of course, our camera person also was hit by a stone in the leg. But, things managed to be, the cars made a dash towards safer places from there. And unfortunately, the day ended on that note, violent note. But otherwise, there were sporadic incidents throughout the day. In the evening, again, from Durgapur, there were some incidents that were reported. But in other parts of the, seats, for example, Asansol was pretty peaceful. Baharampur, Murshidabad, have all voted. 8 seats have voted today. These are 8 important seats. These are seats where there's a contest. It's not like there's a one-sided result in these seats. These are seats where there's a contest, and in that sense, these seem to be seats that were hard-fought. But obviously, a familiar picture associated with Bengal elections, that is pictures of violence, seem to have made a comeback in the 4th phase. The last 3 phases were largely peaceful. There were sporadic incidents, but largely peaceful. But these images of violence seem to have made a comeback in the 4th phase. One hopes that they do not repeat themselves in the 5th, 6th and 7th phase, as Bengal votes in all 7 phases of this Lok Sabha election, coming from the north, starting from the north and all the way down south.
That's right. The most prominent episode of poll violence being reported in this phase. Saurabh Gupta there. Take care of yourself and your crew. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. And also turning our focus to Odisha, which is one of the states today which saw simultaneous Lok Sabha as well as state elections. Voting was held today in 4 Lok Sabha seats in the state and 28 assembly constituencies. Now, BJD has been ruling the state for 24 years, but there are several people of the opinion that CM Naveen Patnaik is facing his toughest contest this time around. That too from his former ally, the BJP. In fact, BJP is making a bid to upstage BJD in the state after the alliance talks failed. We've seen Prime Minister Modi himself taking a dig at BJD, saying June 4th will be the party's expiry date in Odisha. To that, Naveen Patnaik had retorted, calling it BJP's daydreaming. There are also reports of BJD facing internal tussle over Naveen Patnaik's protege, bureaucrat-turned-neta VK Pandian, who is being seen as an outsider. Ratnadeep joins me from Khurda in Odisha, and Ratnadeep, it's largely being seen as a BJP versus BJD fight this time around. Which way is the wind blowing? What did the voters' mood on ground tell you?
Absolutely. Perhaps Naveen Patnaik faces one of the toughest poll battle in his political career as his government completes 25 years in power. Remember, now the BJP, which has been once an ally, is posing a political challenge, and these 4 seats which went to poll, we were at Baharampur, which is one seat where there is a key fight between 2 turncoats. Pradeep Panigrahi, who was a former minister of the BJD, once a close aide of Naveen Patnaik, he is the BJP candidate there, and Bhrigu Bakshipatra, who was the top leader of the BJP, is the BJD candidate. So there are a lot of leaders who have switched sides, even in the state polls. Remember, there are 147 seats, out of which 28 seats have gone to polls. And the mood that we saw among the voters, despite temperatures rising, we did see participation, good participation from the voters, the large turnout of women, and perhaps women are seen as a strong vote bank of the BJD. Whether the BJP, PM Modi's call for change has been able to erode that vote bank is something that we'll have to watch for when the results come in. But with this phase, perhaps in Odisha, what has happened is that this fight between, in one side, Naveen Patnaik's words of development, his 24 guarantees that he has given in his manifesto, to BJP's high-pitched campaign and this call for change. This battle has started, and this will continue for another 3 phases as the state will complete polling to all its 21 Lok Sabha seats and 147 seats. BJP would definitely like to increase its tally in Odisha and also within the state assembly. Now one has to wait and watch to see if Naveen Patnaik and VK Pandian and the rest of the BJD are able to hold on to their fortress or not.
Ratnadeep there. Appreciate you joining us on the broadcast. With that, we'll slip into a short break, but more election updates coming up on the other side, including those shocking incidents being reported from polling booths in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Don't go anywhere.
Co-present.
The 18th Lok Sabha elections. As always, NDTV has its ear to the ground. With the biggest pie of 80 seats, all eyes will be on Uttar Pradesh.
Will the Troika ensure the Modi umbrella unites all?
It is the first election in Naya Kashmir since the scrapping of Article 370.
Will the same number of lotuses bloom in the desert, or can Gehlot lend a helping hand to India?
With BJP having Max here with the only pillar standing of Chhindwara fall.
Can Didi once again withstand the saffron tide?
Will BJP stay strong in its northeast bastion?
Jhadu ka jadoo or Modi magic? Can Congress gain lost ground in Punjab?
Will Revanna Reddy be able to increase the Congress strength in Telangana this time? And in Andhra Pradesh, will the Juggernaut be able to stop Chandrababu Naidu and Pawan Kalyan?
Can BJP win back its only stronghold in the south? Or will it be a Congress consolidation?
Can BJP make a dent in the Dravidian den?
I pledge to vote and encourage all my colleagues at Godrej Industries Limited and associate companies to exercise their voting rights. It's the essence of democracy, and we stand firmly behind it. I would also urge everyone else to vote. We are thrilled to join NDTV's pledge to vote campaign and help spread the word in the corporate world and beyond. It's the essence of democracy, and we stand firmly behind it. We are thrilled to join NDTV's pledge.
It's the world's biggest festival of the power of a vote and the power of a citizen.
It is a day we must answer our call to duty as citizens of India.
We get this opportunity to determine how our country will be governed.
It is this constitutional duty through which we can make a difference in our nation's future.
And make India always a better place than it was yesterday.
I certainly plan to vote as long as I'm able to vote.
We are joining NDTV's Pledge to Vote initiative.
Let us make democracy stronger by going out and exercising our franchise. Jai Hind.
Welcome back. Now, a big focus for this segment is on the southern states of Andhra and Telangana. Now, remember, the south is key for the BJP as they have to improve their numbers here in order to achieve the 400 seats target they've set for themselves. BJP did not manage to win a single seat from Andhra, Kerala and Tamil Nadu in the 2019 elections. But this time, we have seen Prime Minister himself leading BJP's campaign from the front. But alongside this polling process, we've also seen how democracy was disgraced today. We are showing two incidents to you. The first one from Guntur, where a YSRCP MLA was seen slapping a voter. He later claimed the voter was drunk and was allegedly passing casteist remarks, but the voter said that he had objected to the MLA jumping queue, following which he was assaulted by the MLA and his henchmen. The other video is from Hyderabad, where BJP candidate Madhavi Lata was seen asking women wearing burqas to unveil themselves, in a way carrying out a checking drive in polling booths. Both the YSRCP MLA as well as Madhavi Lata have been booked. Cases have been filed against them. But we are highlighting how lawmakers themselves turned lawbreakers, ironically, on an election day. I'm joined by my colleagues Uma from Hyderabad and Pratibha from Guntur. Uma, coming to you first. It's crucial for the BJP, as we mentioned, to do well in all the southern states this time to achieve their target. But as far as these two states are concerned, which polled today, where does BJP stand according to you?
The BJP certainly is hoping to improve its numbers quite dramatically. If 4 was the figure in 2019, they are hoping to double that number and do even better than that. And of course, for that, they're banking on the setback on reverses suffered by the BRS, not just in the assembly election, but post the assembly elections with a lot of desertions happening. So, for the BJP, Telangana is certainly a high-pitched battle, and yes, Hyderabad has been the most high-profile among the battles that the BJP leaders are fighting in Telangana. And Hyderabad Lok Sabha constituency, in that sense, is a classic case for the BJP, which has been accused of using Asaduddin Owaisi's MIM as a party, B party. It's often been called the B team of the BJP, and therefore pitching someone like Madhvi Lata, who has fought this battle very spiritedly, very aggressively, and taking on the lion in its cage, as we say, in its den, as we say. So that's what Madhvi Lata did. But today, what she has been seen doing in those videos, certainly seen as something that exceeded the her poll attempts to win over people, and therefore in the line with what she has been alleging about the voter list and so on in the Old City area. Of course, I must point out that that cleanup was done by the Election Commission. 1.79 lakh voters that were removed, out of which only 18,000 happened to be in that kind of a category, which may be doubtful. Andhra Pradesh, once again, the biggest chance for them certainly is to be able to go along with the TDP and the Janasena and make their mark, because otherwise they have less than 1% of the votes. No possibility of winning a seat there unless they are going with this alliance and backing on the Prime Minister's own big pitch that he made in Andhra Pradesh as well.
Right, Uma, thank you for the analysis, but stay with us. Pratibha, going across to you now, and you are in Guntur, where a voter was slapped by an MLA today. That entire incident captured on camera. What reactions are you picking up on ground?
Well, in fact, most of them were visibly upset with the entire fiasco that took place in Guntur. Both the voter as well as the MLA refused to speak on camera. But then, of course, the MLA had his justification made in the form of a video that was recorded, where he issued a statement claiming that it was casteist slur that provoked him to react in that manner. But definitely it doesn't really give him the power to misuse it and to slap a voter there, no matter the slurs that could have possibly been exchanged. And these were some of the reactions that we picked up from different other voters who were there. The voter was who seems to be the victim here was indeed in major shock there, not willing to speak to anyone, something that he couldn't really get over with. And in fact, we did meet with the family there, none of them who were willing to speak there, as well as the MLA who abandoned us right outside the home, not willing to speak, denying any kind of comment that can possibly be made on camera there or in front of the media channels there. But on the face of it, this was something that was extremely deplorable and was highly condemnable and condemned by many of the citizens there who were waiting in queues to cast their vote. Back to you.
Right, Uma Sudhir and Pratibha there. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. I'm also joined on the broadcast by guests who are discussing this issue further with me. Tonight, there's Mr. Chunduru Sundar Ram Sharma, YSRCP spokesperson, Karuna Gopal, leader of the BJP, Nagesh D, his Congress spokesperson there, and Professor Jyotsna Tirunagiri, national spokesperson for the TDP. And we have Mr. Pulla Rao, political analyst. All of them joining me on this discussion tonight. Thank you so much. My first question, of course, going to YSRCP there. Mr. Sharma, why exactly, what could be the defense for this act? We have seen your MLA actually making pointing out that apparently there were casteist remarks being passed by that particular voter, but nothing really can justify violence.
See, the incident that took place is unfortunate, and mainly whether it is voter or leader or whoever may be, we must maintain some decency and decorum. But the casteist comments is unacceptable. The person where Mr. Sudhakar, his name is Mr. Sudhakar, he commented about the caste because Mr. Annabattuni Shivakumar, and Mr. Sudhakar, both belongs to the same caste. Both belongs to the same caste. Once he has seen MLA, immediately he commented that, see, look who is here, Mala Madiga, YSRCP MLA candidate. That is the comment what he made. So immediately, naturally, the MLA.
But your leader could have objected. He could have filed a police complaint. He could have gone through this, if he wanted to actually take action, he could have done it through legal processes. Why would he why would he assault somebody? And his henchmen for that matter.
If he is stopped, that Sudhakar stopped with that comments, that is a different. But he is continuously commenting and he raised all, he is also in the queue and the MLA is also in the queue. He raised these issues and there are a number of people standing in the queue. Naturally, the MLA went to him. Immediately, there is some exchange. Then only something happened. One more thing, first we must understand. You said that we take a legal action, this one. But first what we must see, what is necessary? What is necessary to understand is why, what led to such an incident.
We've heard this.
From the MLA.
Right, Right, Mr. Sharma, I've heard your point. Let me bring in the TDP spokesperson here, Professor Tirunagiri, in the discussion tonight. We've heard different versions from the YSRCP. In fact, they have, of course, said right from the beginning this is some sort of a political conspiracy. At one point, they said that there was provocation from TDP workers. Now, the final version we are hearing is that there was apparently casteist remarks being passed by the voter. There is, of course, seems to be like some sort of a string of excuses being made by the YSRCP there in order to cover up this particular mistake.
Yes. Thank you for at least, giving me that in, because that's the point. We have been telling it from the moment the incident has happened. It clearly shows the arrogance and high-handedness of the MLA. And also, if you look at the visuals, it's very clear that the MLA skipped the queue. And the voter asked him to come in the queue, follow the due process. That's it. He asked him to follow the due process. And that's when, see, for YSRCP MLAs and YSRCP people, I think following the procedure and following the process is something they have been unaware of for the past 5 years. So suddenly, if you ask them to follow the procedure, rules and regulations, they are not digesting it. That's the one thing. And again, if afterwards you say it, initially the MLA hits him. The voter retaliates, definitely, because he has to safeguard his self-respect. He has to safeguard himself. He has to look after his safety. Then immediately after that, you please kindly note how the MLA's men literally thrashed him and hit him throwed him onto the ground and hit him. MLA himself is again seen hitting him, kicking him with his legs. Is it what? And what kind of an excuse? What kind of a defense have they got? Let's assume they are saying there are some casteist remarks. So does that give you a right to hit a man?
Right.
Does that give you a right to hit a man? Is it what democracy gives you? Simple
right.
question.
These are questions, of course, which we are raising here as well for all political parties. This is, of course, one incident that we're looking at in Andhra. Let's also turn our focus to the incident which we saw in Hyderabad, bringing in Karuna Gopal here, the leader from BJP. That we are talking about the YSRCP MLA, but what about Madhavi Lata there, your BJP candidate from Hyderabad? She did not have any right. She was not the polling officer there on duty asking people to unveil themselves, to check their identity, etc. There are election observers who are there on ground. If she had a doubt, there were policemen, of course, police officials on ground. They could have done that job if at all she had any sort of doubt. She did not have to go about and in a way asking women over there in burqas to lift their veils, etc. So, this is not the kind of behavior that you would expect a leader from a party or a candidate for that matter to have on polling day.
Well, Tanima, all of us have seen the video and we also know that the police has booked a case against her. But, this is a very unique constituency. Absolutely unique when compared to other. I don't think there's any other constituency as sensitive and as different as Hyderabad constituency from where our candidate Madhavi Lata is contesting. It is different from the demographic perspective. There's a large Muslim population there. then the constituency is also known for booth capturing. And as you would have also seen that many fake votes have been detected there. So that gives her, puts her in a place where she perhaps feels insecure, number one. The other thing is, somehow, if you see the officials in the polling booth, not many of them actually are very proactive and ask for the identity check. See, for instance, when we travel abroad, I have seen at the immigration, the people wearing niqab are asked to remove that, and then the identity is checked. Now, this is a festival of democracy, the most sacred part of democracy. And if we are still doubting whether the identity has to be established, then it is a sad case. So I think she was very worried about it, and she has done what she thought was at that time appropriate.
Right. Let me bring in the Congress at this point. Nagesh, Mr. Nagesh there. The police in Telangana, of course, under the Congress government, why weren't there? If we just take that one point from the BJP that they are making, why don't we see the election officials, if at all, they could have stopped Madhavi Lata there, or the police, or for that matter, actually coming forward and stopping this kind of, proactive behavior, so to speak, which was going on over there in these polling booths, which is, of course, illegal in such circumstances. There has been a case filed, but then there should have been more visibility of election officers or police officials on the ground there to stop such incidents from happening in the first place. And here I'm talking about not just the Hyderabad incident, but also what we saw in Andhra. No policeman in sight when that slapping was taking place.
In both the cases, which is very unfortunate to visualize such kind of visuals, whether it is in Guntur and in Hyderabad. Here, both the MLAs, both the contesting candidates, you have to observe one thing of their mindset. They are undermining the law and order, and they are thinking they are the supreme. Look at the attitudes up there. If Madhavi Lata has some issue about the security, she must have approached the polling station, chief or like Election Commission of India. But she's taking it, dealing with by her own hand, which shows that she's bit above the law and order. She has some kind of the backup from BJP, which is, there is in her head. You can visualize by her visuals too. Not only this incident, let's go back to the around 1 month back incident where Madhavi Lata is, targeting the masjid with arrow. Which is, very much threatening to the Ganga Jamuna Tehzeeb, which is known to
Hyderabad. Please talk about today's incident. We're talking about where are the police officials on ground? Why are the election observers not intervening? We'll not talk about past incidents. Please, let's talk about today.
No, see, here we must speak about their mindset, how they are dealing here. Should have approached the Election Commission of India, any polling station officer there, they were standing there, they are ready to help out. But she's taking it, she's dealing by her own hand, which is, something is there in her head that whatever she does comes under legality. But here, one thing she's forgetting that these are the sensitive issues. We are not supposed to, behave that way while election code of conduct is active there. So, which is absolutely unacceptable when it comes to the Congress.
What about the enforcement on ground?
Representative, which is completely unacceptable.
Right. What about the enforcement on ground? I'm running out of time, but I'll give the last word to Mr. Pulla Rao. Oh, 1 second. What about the enforcement on ground? Shouldn't there be harder actions taken against these leaders in order to send out a strong message? We see this kind of gundagardi and high-handedness happening all the time. Mr. Pulla Rao, last word to you. There has to be a precedent set to take action against these leaders in order to send a strong message.
The visible thing there is the invisibility of the policemen and election officers.
Absolutely.
In both the instances, I've heard my friends, and I know all of them, in fact, they have given their various views. I don't contest that. But where are the election officers? Where is the booth officer? Look at both the incidents. Madhavi Lata has written her rights to question, but she's not the one to go and question it. What happens? Where are the officers? I think, other than taking action against the perpetrators, also, action should be taken against the booth officers and others. They're totally absent. Look at the way people are fighting with each other. Look at the way Madhavi Lata, I respect her and all that. I'm not going to that. She goes on checking things. You can't do that. It's the ultimate violation. I was shocked at it. If she had doubts, she should have voiced them beforehand, demanded scrutiny of every voter, and they would have done it. But as you rightly said, the poll officers, the police officers, the security officers, the one who are running the shows in both the cases, action should be taken against them. Cases should be registered against them. Then it will serve as an exemplary thing. Instead of that, what we see in the election time is they harass people carrying small amounts of money on the roads. You're 100% correct. The police, the security, the election officers were all invisible when they should have been visible and doing their duty.
In order to uphold the democratic process, definitely more visibility of enforcement officers on the ground there. I thank all my guests for joining us on the discussion. I'm sorry we have completely run out of time, but thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast there. And with that, it's a wrap from my side. Coming up on the other side of this break, Vasudha and Vishnu with more election analysis. Stay tuned.
देश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी और एनडीए को 400 पार कराने का दृढ़ संकल्प है। जबरदस्त आंधी उत्तर दक्षिण पूरब पश्चिम सब दूर है। पूर्व में इस बार परिणाम ज्यादा मिलेंगे पहले की तुलना में। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने देश को एक गवर्नेंस का मॉडल दिया है।
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
पूरे देश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी और एनडीए को 400 पार कराने का दृढ़ संकल्प है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने देश को एक गवर्नेंस का मॉडल दिया है। देश की विकास यात्रा में महिलाओं की शक्ति एक अतिरिक्त शक्ति बनेगी और वो परिणाम को गति देगी।
Data drives our understanding of any election. What does a dip in voting percentage mean? What are the big factors to watch out for this poll season? Join me, Amitav Tiwari, in a data deep dive only on NDTV, where we decode and simplify the data for you.
The biggest carnival of democracy, India's general election.
Prime Minister Modi makes a formidable bid for a hat-trick.
The opposition is trying to mount a united challenge.
And the southern parties are standing their ground.
As battle lines are drawn,
join us on an exciting journey on the road to 2024.
Indian elections, a festival like no other.
And NDTV covers elections like no other.
When India votes, you can count on us.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Elections क्या हैं?
Election is basically a reality TV show जिससे बिग बॉस चुना जाता है. The biggest festival of democracy.
मेला है मेला.
हमारी आवाज.
Youth की आवाज.
They make hashtags become a voting trend.
they communicate their political views with memes. They turn their real ideas into reels. Youth makes elections a lot more fun, and we have just the right election shows for them. As India goes for its 18th general elections, join me, Arun Singh, for 18 Ka Vote only on NDTV. First-time voters, share your hopes and expectations from the leaders in the form of a video message. We'll feature select videos on NDTV.
I pledge to vote. This is the only relationship between those who govern and those who are governed. It is the only way to hold or reward people or penalize them on the governance they have given. It is a centerpiece of our democratic architecture. We have a right which we must exercise.
In the heat and dust of politics, perspective should not get lost. Watch me decipher hard politics through an academic lens, only on NDTV.
I pledge to vote. This is the only relationship between those who govern and those who are governed. It is the only way to hold or reward people or penalize them on the governance they have given. It is a centerpiece of our democratic architecture. We have a right which we must exercise.
The 18th Lok Sabha elections. As always, NDTV has its ear to the ground.
With the biggest pie of 80 seats, all eyes will be on Uttar Pradesh.
Will the Troika ensure the Modi umbrella unites all?
It is the first election in Naya Kashmir since the scrapping of Article 370.
Will the same number of lotuses bloom in the desert, or can Gehlot lend a helping hand to India?
With BJP having Max here with the only pillar standing of Chhindwara fall.
Can Didi once again withstand the saffron tide? Will BJP stay strong in its northeast bastion? Jhadu ka
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24x7.
Hello, Moto.
Good evening, welcome to India Decides. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the program tonight, about 62.8% of eligible voters have cast their vote for this, the fourth phase of voting for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections in 96 Lok Sabha constituencies across 10 states and union territories.
Well, I'm Vasudha Venugopal. We're already well past the halfway stage in terms of seats remaining in this 7-phase election. On the 4th of June, we'll know exactly who forms the government. But this phase is critical for the BJP and for the Congress, for the India Alliance, as it favors non-aligned parties. And to that end, this phase is a crucial test for the NDA-friendly regional parties.
On the show this evening, a deep dive into the significance of this phase, what's at stake for all the key formations over here. But I think an interesting way of actually starting up is by bringing up the first set of graphics where we can actually look at the voter turnout as it is now. So it's got phases over there, and just look at the last column, phase 4, that's where we are at now. In 2019, Vasudha was 69.1%, it's 62.9%, and this is a figure updated up till about 8 p.m. That's minus 6.2%. Even if it goes up somewhat, chances are that it would be, compared to last time around, the sharpest drop. And if you actually look at this data, it's from phase 1, it's down 3.9%. From last time around, down 3.4%. Phase 2, down a little more than 1%. Phase 3, and down at this stage to more than 6%. That can adjust itself slightly, but it's quite significant. Let's just move to the next set of graphics over here. And I think this is interesting because why we talk about, and it's debatable, and we will debate it because that's what we're doing, debating, right? So turnout impact analysis between 1977 and 2019. Why are we so interested in voter turnout? So if voter turnout increases, then it has done so on 7 occasions from 1977 to 2019. And on those 7 occasions, the incumbent government has changed on 4 occasions. It's repeated on 3 occasions. If voter turnout, now look at the final column, the lower one. If voter turnout has decreased, it has done so, in fact, on 5 occasions from 1977 to 2019. And on 4 occasions, the incumbent government has changed. It's repeated on 1 occasion. So some suggest, and it's debatable, that if turnout reduces, then there is a higher chance for a government to be replaced. So let me just introduce our panelists and then we can start up. Ashok Malik with us, senior journalist, Aarti Jayarath, Dr. Shama Mohammed of the Congress, Nalin Kohli of the BJP and advocate senior advocate of the Supreme Court of India, and Sanjay Kumar, psephologist and professor at CSDS. Sanjay, to you first, how would you look at those numbers? A, on what's happened since 1977, and B, on what's happened today. It's disappointing at one level. If it does turn out to be more than 6% down from last time, it's disappointing if not anything else.
No, my own sense is that the figures will get updated because the figures are up till 8 p.m. I'm sure it will be updated on the upward side by a couple of more percentages. So it's likely to be maybe 2.5–3% less compared to 2019 in the 4th phase. I'm not surprised because we are always comparing the turnout figures from the 2019, which was an unusual election by various means, one being the turnout, because that's an election which witnessed highest turnout in Indian Lok Sabha elections, 68% turnout. So I wouldn't be surprised that if we keep looking at turnout being low in the 5th, 6th and 7th phase as well, because we are comparing it with an election which witnessed a very high turnout. The other data, we have been discussing this since the first phase of election. Yes, if you look at the data standalone, we get a sense that there is chances of government getting defeated if the turnout goes down. But I think this is a very small number to make generalization about. We must also look at the state assembly election. And if you look at the big pool of data, you won't find such a strong correlation.
Right. Nalin, 3 states, Maharashtra, UP and Bihar, seem to be really sort of like, tired and they're not really voting. And these are your key states. These are states which are extremely important for the NDA reaching its 300 par or 400 par.
I think the first comment that really comes is, why is this assumption that it's the BJP voter or the BJP that would be hurt if the voter turnout is low? I mean, if the voter turnout is low, it can hurt anybody. It may not hurt also
only because of that statistic. So it is debatable that if voter turnout is low, then the incumbent government has a somewhat stronger possibility of changing. You're not suggesting that is going to happen. I'm only suggesting that it just out of for the sake of debate.
So let's, for the sake
it's
of
sort of
debate,
backed up by that now.
Okay, so let's take that debate further. That if you have a low voter turnout, there have been occasions that your incumbent government has won, and you are saying that it seems that the incumbent government is more in problem.
Yes.
Right? So let's now pick the entire scenario. In the last 30 years, first majority government with a leader projected as the Prime Minister, 2014. In 19, we heard cannot come back, comes with a greater majority. Now in 2019, we hear the same what we are hearing in 2019, 2024. Let's pick the numbers. 379 seats in 4 phases. 60% was the strike rate of the BJP in 2014, 61% is the strike rate. Let's look at the seats. The BJP has actually done well. In 2000, we have reduced some seats also in these elections if you compare it, and I can give you that data. But if you look at it from the other side, what do we have on the projection on the other side? We don't have clarity on leadership. We don't have clarity of an alliance. We are not just clarity on leader, which is Prime Minister Modi. We have clarity on the alliance.
Okay,
so
let's stick to numbers for now.
Sure.
And we'll come back to the issue of leadership because that is a key issue. Would you like to respond? I mean, how do you see the voter turnout?
So, a couple of points. One, which you have said that, out of 8 times, 5 times the incumbent did not come back. So that's saying exactly what we've been saying, that the India alliance is coming back. Now, he just mentioned there is no clarity of leadership. In 2004, there was no clarity of leadership. Right? We won when India was shining. So this clarity of leadership, and in 2004, in fact, we had post-poll alliances more than pre-poll alliances. So here we have pre-poll alliances. We are around 26 to, it was initially 29, but it's come down to 26 parties. We are there. We have a strong alliance. But having said all that, what is the important thing today for me is what happened in Hyderabad with Madhvi Lata. She went to voters, she intimidated them, she asked them, what's your name? Open your burqa. Now, according to Election Commission of India, Section 171C, those who have voluntary interferes or attempts to interfere with free electoral process, there is 1 year imprisonment and fine. Now, there are a lot of FIRs, okay? Yes. But what happens in the end? There is no action. That is why Navneet Rana said, 15 seconds mein hum ye karenge aapko. Because the Prime Minister of India has been violating the Model Code of Conduct multiple times. We also remember the 7-bench judgment in 2017 when Chief Justice Thakur was there, that it says anybody who asks for vote based on religion, based on community, based on language, cannot do that, and they'll be called corrupt. No, but this is an important point, because what I feel today, Vishnu, is that there is no election commission. So how can the election be free and fair? That's a very important point. The larger point is, how can we have a free and fair election when there is no election commission? The election commission does not take action on the Prime Minister when he talks about how the Guspetiya comes in,
okay, just half a
takes
second.
your
Let's get a
reply. When Congress will be rejected because they did not attend Pran Pratishtha. How can you say that?
Okay, one sec. So lots of issues over there, but what you do point out to Ashok was a particularly glaring episode.
I'll respond later.
By all means. Would you agree that that's something that shouldn't have been done? A high-profile candidate basically saying that for those women wearing a burqa, sort of lift the veil, to sort of match the identity. It is construed to be intimidation.
No, look, I'm not election commission.
I'm asking about your view.
Prima facie, it doesn't seem proper, but I'll leave it to the election commission to decide.
Yeah. There's no election commission, then why would we decide?
No, so no, I'm not the election commission, but I'll just say, for the sake of argument, let's put that to airport security. Let's put that entry into parliament. Let's put that entry into any security zone. Can anybody say that my religious rights or my religious clothing will prevent me from being able to identify it clearly?
But if you have a candidate doing that,
so the presiding officer is there.
The
presiding officer is there. Nalin, why couldn't she go to the presiding officer?
I'm not cross-talking, otherwise I'll have, this debate will go elsewhere. So I'm only for the sake of the other guests not doing that. But I'll just come back. So that is what you have to wait to see. We will know. Right. I'm not going to speak for the election commission. And second is, my training as an advocate prevents me from picking up a snippet here from a judgment and a snippet there to build an argument. So let us now come back to the political debate. I mean,
but Nalin, you haven't quite answered this entirely. The act itself, the fact that you have a BJP leader contesting these elections in that constituency, sort of encouraging something like this from happening.
Look, anyone,
shouldn't the BJP
1 minute as a principle, first, no, 1 minute, as a principle, anyone who intervenes into the electoral process in a manner that can be by the Election Commission construed to be an interference in that process of free conduct of elections has to face the consequences. Now that is to be seen under election law and is to be seen by the Election Commission. Why should that presumption be there? I mean, and let's come back to religion. Right here, I'm in charge of Nagaland. In Nagaland, the Congress party made an appeal on the name of Christianity. He was censored. So let's not get down this religion route. The Congress party has much to answer.
No, okay, but can I just come in?
No, but we'll keep talking about religion. I need to do a dive into the data over here.
He was censored. But the Prime Minister of India is talking like this. Then what do we do about it? If the Election Commission is not taking action, I want to question the Election Commission when it is going to...
So you've done that,
It's not a free... But we have approached them 16 times and they have not taken action.
Shama, if you get angry now, then I cannot go through my data.
I'm not angry.
We work all day on this data.
I'm saying there's no Election Commission. It's not a free and fair election.
Every time you win, it's not free and fair. We'd like to get those states back then, if you mind.
And I'm not trying to shut you down by any means. I'm just trying to do my show.
No, you're a wonderful anchor, Vishnu.
Everybody please note, Vasudha, you heard that, right?
Yes.
So can we just have the next set of data? And what we're looking at over here is 2019. And then, essentially asking what's at stake this time around in 2024. Now, for the benefit of our viewers, in 2019, look at the leftmost. The BJP won 42 of 49 seats in phase 4 in 2019. In the center, the Congress won 6 of 12 seats in 2019, and others, and this is what we'll be talking about a fair bit, including the YSRCP, 122 of 35. That others is very large and it is significant in this phase. Let's go to the next graphic, because that actually has the strike rate as well. 10 states, 96 seats. What is at stake again? So this is the strike rate, this is the strike rate. The BJP's overall strike rate last time around was at 69%, which was huge. The Congress at just 12%. And in phase 4, this phase, right, 47% and just 7 for the Congress. Sanjay, again, the BJP did fairly well last time around, winning many seats in many of the states. But in terms of the strike rate that they would require this time around to be on path to being, let us say, 350 plus or maybe 400 plus, what would they want from this phase?
From this phase, we should not forget that in this phase, Andhra went to polls and the entire state of Telangana went to poll. And if you club the seats of the two states, it's 42 seats. Last time BJP could not open an account in Andhra, and in Telangana they managed to win only 4 seats. So that accounts for a lower strike rate for BJP in phase 4. If you compare it with the vote share also, BJP's overall vote share in the entire country last time was 37%. In this phase, BJP's vote share was also 10% less compared to the average vote share. So in order to achieve the target of say 370 or 400, even if we say 370, in the fourth phase, they need to at least double the strike rate, which is going to be very, very difficult. That's a rough calculation which I am making. But if a party needs to or aims to go from 303 to 370, definitely you need to hit hard. In the terminology of cricket, you have to make scores. So I think the strike rate has to be much higher compared to what we saw in 2019.
Mr. Malik, at least with regard to this phase, I think BJD is very important, and because non-aligned parties are going to be very important, including the BRS and YSRCP and BJD. In Odisha, the BJP state unit is of course finding it very difficult to take on a chief minister that it has not really criticized in the last few years. So do you think that is going to be a big challenge for the BJP?
Look, even the last time in 2019, the BJP's vote share went up considerably, but it ended up helping the BJD because the opposition vote was divided between the Congress and the BJP. At some point, the BJP has to cross the certain vote threshold in Odisha, which it did in Bengal last time, for instance, and it will start delivering seats. I suspect it may just be this election. Because, look, I don't want to go into a debate about whether the BJP will win 370 or not 370. That's a
but there
separate
was
issue.
Split voting last time. So,
but in Odisha, in Bengal, in Telangana, in Andhra, these are all states where the BJP, I suspect the BJP will win more seats this time than it did last time. And in the case of Andhra, they won 0 last time, I think. So it will obviously go up there. So I do believe the BJP's strike rate and seat tally at the end of phase 4 will be more than what it was last time.
Okay.
Whether it goes up to 370 or not is a separate issue.
Let's just move on to Andhra Pradesh now and do a deep dive into the numbers over there. So what we are looking at, does the YSRCP hold an edge? And this is obviously based on the Lok Sabha numbers, and we'll take a look at the Vidhan Sabha numbers as well.
I think the 2014 thing was very important because JSP came together with TDP and BJP, and they had this massive 17 seats in 2014. But of course, then the split with Chandrababu Naidu happened, and not so much on good terms. And of course, YSRCP won 22 seats in the assembly polls, reducing the TDP to just 3 seats.
And the Congress and the BJP did disastrously in 2019 in this phase.
Yes.
25 seats. Let's just move to...
So the magic of 2014, will that get repeated or not, is a big question for the BJP and TDP alliance.
And Vidhan Sabha equally interesting. If we just go through that, and let's have that up full screen. So the Vidhan Sabha elections in 2019, 175 seats in total. The YSRCP, look at the right-hand side of your screen, at 151. The TDP at 23. Again, the Congress and the BJP, non-starters. So Aarti, again, in a phase where regional satraps are so important, it seems to be particularly so in Andhra Pradesh. And that determines very much the future of at least in these elections, of the BJP and the Congress, right? How well the YSRCP does.
So, 5 years ago, I think it was very clear. I mean, Andhra bucked the national trend with, Jagan Reddy's party winning, doing very well in the Lok Sabha elections, and then, of course, winning this huge majority in the assembly elections. And I think it was pretty evident from the crowds he was drawing. He was drawing huge crowds at that time. And, so I think there was really no doubt, who was going to win in Andhra. What is, I think creating confusion this time is that we're not seeing that kind of groundswell of support
for Jagan.
Either for Jagan or even for the TDP.
Right.
We're not seeing the kind of crowds that Jagan drew 5 years ago moving to the TDP this time. And I think that is what is creating confusion. There are also more players, with Jagan's family being split, his sister having joined the Congress. I think that is also adding to the confusion. And then, Pavan Kalyan sort of jumping in and, signing up with the BJP for an alliance. So, I mean, all in all, the picture in Andhra seems to be a little confused this year as compared to 5 years ago, when I think the, outcome was very, very evident.
Mr. Puri, do you think
but yes, this is a phase in which the BJP really needs to up its game if it's going to, if it wants to achieve that target of 303 plus to plus to
Let's
whatever.
have the alliances up as Vasudha, go ahead. If you want to
so I just wanted to ask Nalin this. Is it a win-win situation for the BJP? Because, there is nobody more obedient than Jagan. He loves the Prime Minister. And, you've had this, sweet and sour relationship with Chandrababu Naidu. But clearly, both parties seem to like the BJP. They need the centre support for reasons we know.
So let's look at the last four. Since Andhra is involved, and I'll be interested to see what even Sanjay ji says. In 2000, 379 seats total in these four phases. In 2014, the BJP got 193 and increased it to 206 in 2019. Now, here's the interesting part. Among the allies, and remember that the BJP has a set of fixed allies in 14 and in 19. They are not floating conversations that may be allies in the name of a non-existent alliance. Okay. So I'm making that point because it's critical. So in the allies scene, if you look at it, in 2014 it was 37 to the NDA, if I may call it, which came down to 28. And that was answered in your graphic because you had the TDP in 2014 and you did not have the TDP in 2019, and instead you had the YSR, which was a separate party.
Yes.
That they may support a government later was a secondary issue. So if you look at both of them together, the BJP overall, its strike rate had increased because what we had between the allies and the BJP, while our seats went up, the allies went down, is that we had 234 seats in 2019 compared to 230 in 2014.
Sure.
So I'd say that, when you look at the story, there are two stories riding together with Andhra in this phase.
Okay.
That the allies also contribute to the growth of the NDA with the BJP.
Okay. Yeah. Can I just come in?
You want to come in on that, or shall we take a look at Telangana
next,
as well?
state,
And I wanted to come to you on that. Let's just move quickly to Telangana because we've got several other states to take a look at. So let's roll out the number of on Telangana. And so the question that we're asking is the Congress on the upswing? It is. Is that likely to remain in that way? If you look at Lok Sabha, 2 in 2014, the Congress went up to 3. The real story, of course, is not Lok Sabha. I'm just putting these numbers out there. The BRS turned out to be a formidable part player in 2014, a formidable player in 2019. But things started changing dramatically when you look at the Vidhan Sabha election. So let's have the Vidhan Sabha results out for Telangana. And the fact that these elections have just happened, and it's a huge turn in favor of the Congress at 64. The BRS, by their standards, collapsing to 39. The BJP at just 8. And so 64 of 119 seats going to the Congress. The question, therefore, is do you believe, Shama, that the fact that the gap between the assembly elections and the Lok Sabha elections is so narrow that there is a bit of a wave that can continue? Very often, that's not often the case.
It's not that I believe. I'm sure,
Okay.
because of the guarantees. See, the guarantees have done very well for us. especially when it comes to women, both in Karnataka as well as here. And you will see that will do well for us. So I believe the BRS is going to crash, and those votes, those seats are just going to come over to the Congress, and it's not going to be the Bharatiya Janata Party. And when you look at Andhra also, one point I want to mention is that they were supposed to get a special status, they were supposed to get money, but they did not give. So the people of Andhra, if you go at the ground level, are still angry with the Bharatiya Janata Party because nothing was given. The capital is not built. They have a lot of issues over there. And he spoke about alliance partners. I just want to say throughout the UPA, our alliance partners remained with us. There was no issue. But unlike the BJP, we do not break up our alliance partners. We do not come as a small alliance partner and become the big one, like what we have seen in Maharashtra, where the Shiv Sena has been broken up. The LJP in Bihar has been broken up. The Akalis have ran away. So we don't do that. We keep our alliance partners. We grow with the alliance partner. And that's why we know that this time with the alliance partners, we are supporting it. We are not acting like Big Brother. We are supporting. We've given up. In fact, we sacrificed seats even in Maharashtra. Right. 17. We took less seats.
We look at Maharashtra.
So what I'm trying to say is that we as an alliance, the Congress party functions very well. But having said that, the other one, which is the present government, just finishes them off. Look at JD. I mean, look at JDU, where we saw Nitish Kumar with the lotus like this light.
Let's stick
I
to
just have a
Telangana
comment
right
on
now.
that.
Nalin, go ahead.
It's fascinating to note how necessity becomes a virtue. We don't treat our alliance partners as juniors. The Congress, which is on a declining streak, from 180 down to 44 and 52. I mean, actually, we are giving greater seats. They don't have a presence. So if you don't have a presence in politics, I mean, the alliance which has a presence is going to take.
Right.
Look at Mamata Banerjee. The alliance partner says you're going to be less than 40 this time. And finally, I don't even want to give you a single seat. She put up candidates against the two that she was willing to offer also. So I think it's okay. This narrative, everyone is entitled to. And I'm not going to hold Shama against having a narrative for her party. She must. She's entitled to this democracy, but at the end of the day, you can't turn necessity into a virtue to give this high thing, which is the only reason why the Congress party is where it is today.
Just one thing. In that Mamata Banerjee thing, before the alliance was on, we knew 3 states would be problem. One is Kerala, West Bengal, and Punjab. These are 3 states I told from the beginning, when the alliance were forming, these 3 states we will have issues. And it's the truth. Sometimes you can't, we have to look at the state level leaders too.
Given, I mean, the entire issue of how strong or cohesive the India alliance is, if you have problems with the Trinamool Congress, which you clearly do.
In the local level, not at the central level. At the local level, definitely.
Let's just take a look
at us and CPM, the Congress and the CPM in Kerala.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look, in fact, to Bengal. Let's move to Bengal right now.
So Bengal had important seats like Berhampur and of course, which is where Yusuf Pathan was contesting against.
We've got that graphic, a bunch of them, really interesting ones. So this is what happened in last time around. I beg your pardon, the seats contesting, all of them 8 seats each. These are, they're all contesting in phase 4 in Bengal. Now let's move to the next graphic, which actually points at the Lok Sabha result of 2019. Now, the question, was this a neck-and-neck fight? If you take a look at the rightmost corner and the vote share, the BJP's vote share was just below the Trinamool Congress, 39.6 to 42.1%, and the number of seats, 4 to 3, the Congress at just 1. This was a particular phase where the BJP was in the ascendancy. So the question, Ashok, is, do you believe in Bengal, and there have been so many decisive issues, the BJP may be on the ascendancy?
But this phase is exceptional because it's all Hindi-speaking areas, right? Because, Durgapur, Asansol. So I think this is
Though to be fair, Trinamool has also put up a few high-profile candidates.
Yes.
Yeah? So the BJP is essentially defending 20 seats out of 42. 18 which it won last time, and the 2 Adhikari seats which have now moved, the Adhikari family has moved to the BJP. So Tamluk and Kontai also, in a sense, become the BJP's to defend. And Bengal has become even more strongly after the last assembly election, a 2-horse race, a bipolar polity. In a Lok Sabha election, as opposed to an assembly election, the BJP certainly has more advantages, because in the Vidhan Sabha election, Mamata Banerjee's stature as a chief minister worked very well for Trinamool. Similarly, the BJP would hope that Prime Minister Modi's stature as the Prime Minister and the Prime Ministerial candidate would work for the BJP's advantage. I certainly don't see the BJP dropping those 20 seats.
Okay.
How much it can gain remains a matter of conjecture.
Okay.
If you look at the growth, Vasudha, just briefly, even at the Vidhan Sabha level, the BJP, which was a non-starter in Bengal prior to 2014, it went in 2019 from 80. Sorry, this is they went to 77 in the Vidhan Sabha as well, and 18 in the Lok Sabha. So the rise of the BJP has been true in the Vidhan Sabha as much as it has been in the Lok Sabha, even though obviously at the Vidhan Sabha level, way short of where the Trinamool
So the rise was
Congress
from
is.
3 seats to 77 seats, which was huge. But I think, this election is also very important for Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee. For Mamata Banerjee to basically retain her status as this mass leader and TMC supremo, and Abhishek Banerjee also rising because everybody in TMC is talking about how powerful he's becoming within the party. So tell us, how is the Lok Sabha elections of 2024 Bengal going to impact how we see TMC or how the TMC functions?
Well, one of the reasons why the BJP gained this huge foothold in West Bengal is the collapse of the left. The left just virtually collapsed, and a lot of its vote got transferred to the BJP because it's basically an anti-Mamata vote. And that's really what has seen the BJP rise in Bengal and gain that huge foothold. And I don't think the left has been able to re-establish itself in any way in Bengal. And the Congress also is, kind of really lost ground. So that is why it's become a bipolar fight. The thing is that, what works to Mamata's advantage is that Bengal has about a 30% Muslim population. And, there are many pockets where there are in large concentrations. And, that Muslim vote has consolidated behind her in the past. It's likely to consolidate behind her in this election as well. And that's, I think, what prevents the BJP from actually aiming to get more than 18 to 20 seats, which is what it got. And, so unless it can break that stranglehold over the Muslim vote, which looks unlikely at the moment, certainly given the kind of rhetoric we're seeing in this election, and now, as we move forward, these are moving into areas where Muslims are in large, concentrations. So these are really, and also rural Bengal, where Mamata is very strong, much stronger than the BJP. So, you may see a kind of different vibe, a different kind of dynamics in operation.
Sanjay, what strikes me in this particular phase is, let's have those names. It is just the best of the most diverse set of big faces. You've got a Bollywood actor, you've got a former Union Minister of State, you've got 2 former cricketers, you've got the Congress, leader of the Congress, in fact, in the Lok Sabha, you've got a sitting BJP MP, you've got a former MP from the Trinamool Congress, Mahua Moitra, and you've got somebody belonging to the royal family of Krishna Nagar as well. This is just fabulous, isn't it? This particular phase, very, very high-profile names.
Absolutely. You have taken various names. It's like in the 4th phase of elections in Bengal, it's a who's who. All the big names are contesting in this election against each other. So definitely an interesting phase for both Trinamool Congress and BJP in this phase of election. And that is why you get a sense, even in 2019, if you look at the vote share difference between the TMC and the BJP, it's very narrow. So I'm sure this phase has witnessed an interesting contest between TMC and BJP.
I'd like to point out something here. The data I received some time ago, this needs to be verified, I think I'm correct, says that Jangipur, the 2 Maldas, Uttar and Lakhin, Behrampur, Murshidabad, all happen to be strongly minority, not dominated, but strong minority populations, have all seen a dip in voting. Now, I'm not aspiring great conspiracies to it. All I'm suggesting is what Nalin had pointed out, the summer is so sharp, it is affecting vote share across the board.
No, but you saw what happened yesterday in Uttar Pradesh. Many of them were not allowed to vote.
You mean in Bengal, people are not allowed to vote?
No, I'm talking about UP. What happened also, I mean, I haven't heard about Bengal, but there are issues in UP in which many Muslims could not vote. Their names were not in voter ID. They were not allowed inside by police. There were a lot of issues.
But Nalin, at least with regard to...
I have to come in on this. This is a narrative that we have to be very careful about. And the Election Commission, as I read in the paper, put out a fairly strong letter to Mr. Kharge. And this has been a pattern that Rahul Gandhi has been building up, that, the Election Commission or the elections are not fair. If they are not fair, then how does the Congress win? How do they form a government in Telangana? How do they form a government in Himachal? How does he win and lose an election? I mean, he loses Amethi, he wins Wayanad. So, I mean, elections are won because people actually use their finger. These are human beings who are citizens of India, voters of India, who go into a booth and press a button, either for one party, another or a third. And then somebody who gets the total tally wins. Now, you can't have this narrative that my voter making a belief has been prevented because you're doing badly. I mean, where you win, you don't say my voter is prevented. So why is the voter being prevented at ABC?
Right.
There are problems in Bengal, they don't say that for Bengal. There are problems in Kerala, they don't say it for Kerala. But you will weaken the institution, you will weaken democracy by saying in Uttar Pradesh it will happen.
Okay. No, let me come in on this. What we are seeing is what we saw, not us, but journalists reporting with proof. These are things which you're a journalist, I have seen it. Now, the issue he says is about state elections. I'm not talking about state. When the Lok Sabha elections are happening, we are seeing in front of us violation of the model code of conduct. Now, I know Randeep Surjewala was not allowed for 2 days because of some issue with Hema Malini. KCR was taken off for 2 days. Yeah. My question today is, when Narendra Modi is saying that don't reject the Congress party, they did not attend the Pran Pratishtha. And why is the Election Commission quiet? Why is he allowed to continue to do prachar when we were not allowed? He says, वो घुसपैठिया हैं, आपको संपत्ति लेके हिंदूज को देंगे. So that is a hate speech, and the Supreme Court has come out heavily on hate speech and said the police have to take suo motu cognizance. So what I'm asking is, why is he not banned?
The EC has also come out against the Congress party.
No, the EC came out against the Congress party when we are asking something which is very justified. Our letter was, why is this happening?
So
the EC
Shama,
only comes up
that
against
you
us.
have.
My question today to Nalin or to anybody is, why is the Election Commission quiet on
Okay, so now again,
Anurag
just to be
Anurag
fair,
Thakur
there
said,
is nobody from the EC over here.
No, Anurag Thakur.
No former
says,
person, certainly no serving person.
The Congress will give your children's property to Muslims. This is what Anurag Thakur said. So I'm asking you why. I have get all on. And Rajnath Singh said Rahul Gandhi wanted to introduce caste census in the army for introducing minority quota. Now, my question today is, why only opposition leaders are picked up?
Aarti, do you want to come in on that?
Take action.
But I would also like to respond to that.
And then
are opposition leaders being picked on? Oh, yeah?
I mean, look, I haven't been following the controversy, but yes, I think this election is full of a lot of polarizing rhetoric. And it is true that I haven't seen the Election Commission take any stern action or issue a whip or issue a, sort of strong statement asking people to desist from using polarizing rhetoric or using communal language. Even last time when Anurag Thakur in the 2019 elections, he said something terrible in Delhi and, I don't remember what it was, but something fairly communal. And no action was taken. So no action was taken against him. So, I mean, these are things that raise questions, that is the Election Commission providing a level playing field to all the political actors or not?
And
okay, let's move on to UP
we have
now.
Maharashtra and UP left, so I think that's very important.
The largest state is...
I have to respond. I mean, it can't be a one-way street. Here is a one-way tirade about one minute. Hold on, I must say it. I need to come in.
Why you're not talking about
Okay. You will come in.
Muslim.
Yeah. All right, Shama, hold on. Okay, one sec. Come in. All right. Here's the way it will work. 30 seconds each. You've made your 30 seconds. Your 30 seconds is over. Nalin, please go ahead. Please go ahead. I'll be fair.
2 minutes of Muslim and Hindu. So let's talk about Muslim and Hindu. It's, first of all, it's a yes-no binary. Has the Congress party said that there should be reservation for Muslims? They've said so. It's a binary. No, they put it in their manifesto. They put it loosely.
It is not in our manifesto.
I didn't interrupt. No, I'm sorry.
No, but one sec, Shama, I'll have to
I'm sorry.
I'll have to take a break now if we get into the entire life.
I'm sorry.
No, Shama,
I'm sorry.
Shama, come on, let's not get personal, please.
Covering up my argument.
Come on, you go ahead, make your point.
I mean, let's first start. How did the Muslim reservation issue start? It started because you essentially had a Congress chief minister in Karnataka bring it in. It went up to the Supreme Court, came down. That's a factual statement. The Congress has been a votary of that, of trying to say so. Number two, are they the ones who have not said that the first right of somebody is going to be a Muslim in terms of a minority on the assets of India? or on the resources of India, it is Dr. Manmohan Singh. It's not Narendra Modi. So now let's approach. So therefore we need to approach this. This is. I didn't interrupt.
Okay, sorry. Let me finish. Okay, you finish.
Okay. So therefore, at the end of the day, they want to treat this. I would like to, let's pick this up. First of all, 1950, when our constitution came, the Constitution of India, you pick up the original thing, has Lord Ram, has Lord Krishna, has Buddha, all of them in paintings, as Ambedkar ji and the others made the Constitution of India. The word secular comes in 1976 in emergency by a dictator. And I'm using that word dictator in emergency, not under a democratic process. Number two, so which is the Constitution? Are you saying the Constitution of India in 1950 was communal? Just because you've added the word secular in 1976 in an amendment in emergency. So the point is, this is how it was seen. The guarantee of Article 14, the guarantee being that yes, this is our civilizational heritage of a Hindu majority country, but we guarantee equality for everyone. No one will be discriminated on the basis of religion. It can't get skewed because somebody has a vote bank to say that you will be higher than another citizen of India.
Now I have to respond.
But just quickly, because we aren't really discussing what we are meant to.
We have put for the Muslims. Yadurappa was in Karnataka as the chief minister. If what he's saying is right, then he should have removed it. He didn't do anything. So there was no reservation based on religion.
Shama, can you lead us forward and say that there would be no Muslim quotas? So that's
I'm saying that there is reservation. What is there in the Constitution of India is based on caste. There is never religious. So there is no religious reservation. There is no religious reservation.
I think Chandrababu Naidu has also talked about Muslim reservation.
It is under
and
the
he's
OBC
an ally of the BJP.
In the OBC
so what
Muslims, which are
we don't stand for religion-based reservation at all.
This is your ally talking about it.
So what? We don't stand for religion-based reservation
what I'm saying is, I believe that it is Muslims in the OBC.
All
right,
okay.
in Maharashtra,
Okay, we need to take a short break now. We need to take a short break because I will discuss Uttar Pradesh, but I need to take a short break, and we'll come back in just a few moments. Do stay tuned.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
I have a right to decide who will run my country for the next 5 years. And for that, I need to vote. So I pledge to vote, and I encourage all my family members, all my colleagues at Hyundai Motor India, and of course, all the citizens of my great country to go ahead and vote. Vote now and vote forever.
I have been casting my vote from the age of 18, and I encourage everyone to cast the vote rightly, judiciously, so that we have democratic excellence in India, leading to the positive outcomes and taking us towards a Sunehra Kal and Amrit Kal, which is the need of the hour.
अभी आपको जो करना चाहिए वो है वोट, बिकॉज वोटिंग इज द मोस्ट पावरफुल राइट दैट वी हैव इन अ डेमोक्रेसी। और अभी दोस्तों जो चल रही हैं लोकसभा इलेक्शंस, यहाँ पे वोटिंग की हम बात कर रहे हैं, तो लेट मी टेल यू एन इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट अबाउट ईवीएम्स। क्या आपको पता है कि आज जो चारों तरफ ईवीएम्स हैं जिनको हम यूज करते हैं टू रजिस्टर आवर वोट, ये पहली बार कब आइडिया आया था? I mean, initially it was the ballot paper, but it was in 1977 जब idea आया to go away from these traditional ballot papers and move towards the EVMs. And वहाँ से करते करते these machines were developed, used on a trial basis, फिर बीच में कुछ और issues हुए, and moving forward, It was in 2004 general elections जब पैन इंडिया सभी 543 कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसीज में EVMs को यूज किया। 2004 के बाद 2009, 2014, 2019 और अब 2024 में भी हम देखते हैं कि आज इंडिया के लोकसभा इलेक्शंस या फिर इनफैक्ट असेंबली इलेक्शंस में भी हम EVMs को वाइड स्प्रेड तरीके से यूज करते हैं। आप बताइए कि क्या आपने अभी वोट कर दिया है या इज इट योर फर्स्ट टाइम टू वोट दिस ईयर? Guys, make sure you go ahead and vote because ये जो हमारा right है, it gives us all the power and we must use it for the good of our country.
It's the essence of democracy, and we stand firmly behind it. We are thrilled to join NDTV's pledge.
It's the world's biggest festival of the power of a vote and the power of a citizen.
It is a day we must answer our call to duty as citizens of India.
We get this opportunity to determine how our country will be governed.
It is this constitutional duty through which we can make a difference in our nation's future.
And make India always a better place than it was yesterday.
I certainly plan to vote as long as I'm able to vote.
We are joining NDTV's Pledge to Vote initiative.
Let us make democracy stronger by going out and exercising our franchise. Jai Hind.
As citizens, we must remember that voting is not only a privilege, but also our duty towards our nation. I, Akash Ori from the DLF Group, pledge to encourage my colleagues, their friends and family to vote for the government they believe in. This is the strength of our democracy.
In the heat and dust of politics, perspective should not get lost. Watch me decipher hard politics through an academic lens, only on NDTV.
दुनिया के सबसे बड़े लोकतंत्र का वो चुनाव जो देश और दुनिया को बदलने की ताकत रखता है। सरकार बनाएंगे करीब 100 करोड़ लोग।
So 13 seats of Uttar Pradesh also voted today as part of phase 4 of elections. BJP contested on 13 seats. Samajwadi Party plus Congress contested on 11 plus 2, 13 seats. And this was an important phase which saw battle in Kannauj, Etawah, Hardoi, a couple of other seats like Unnao. And of course, a large number of reserved constituencies also polled today. BJP contested on 13 seats, and remember that the BSP SP was the combined contested last time in 2019. This is the Lok Sabha data that we are showing. And can we also, show the Kannauj data, because Kannauj was the only seat that the BJP lost in 2014, and of course to 2019, Subrat Pathak, the sitting MP, won from there. And let me ask this question to Sanjay Kumar, sir. Last time BSP and Samajwadi Party came together, and Dimple Yadav still lost that election. So Kannauj clearly is a very challenging seat for Akhilesh Yadav, and for him to contest from this seat and say that, he's going to be a candidate from here despite having announced his nephew's name from there, does it make sense to us? Because this clearly is a challenging seat for him since his wife lost last year.
No, I'm sure Samajwadi Party would have made all calculations before Akhilesh Yadav wanted to contest from this constituency. But remember, 2019 election is the only election, if you look at the last 4 or 5 elections, that this is a seat which the Mulayam Singh Yadav's party lost from that constituency. But if you leave aside the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, look at 2004 and the couple of previous Assembly Lok Sabha elections, Samajwadi Party has always been winning the seat. So it's not a weak seat for Samajwadi Party. And as I said earlier, Samajwadi Party must have made calculations before Akhilesh Yadav deciding to contest from this election. Let's see what happens. We will get to know only on the 4th of June.
Okay.
All right, let's take since we're running short on time, let's take a look at the Maharashtra alliances. Vasudha, would you like to go through this? Phase 4, let's take a look.
So Maharashtra, 11 seats polled today. BJP contested on 7, NCP on 1, and
these are the alliances.
Yes, and I think some very interesting seats here, especially in Marathwada, which is seen as the battleground for Maratha protesters. Several leaders of the BJP, OBC leaders, have also spoken about it. The Lok Sabha seats are particularly interesting because last time there was a clear edge to the BJP Shiv Sena combined, but of course this time the Shiv Sena has split and so has the NCP. Maharashtra has not seen a major election in the last 5 years, so nobody really knows how the ground looks like. 11 seats in all. BJP Shiv Sena won 9 seats last time. Congress NCP won just 1. And Mr. Malik, Pune is a very interesting seat because you have the first timers here. Pune used to be a Congress stronghold before 2014. And Pune was, I saw Supriya Sule campaigning there, Mr. Modi was there, Amit Shah was there. Everybody landed in Pune this time because it's also very important for the BJP. How do you see the battle for Maharashtra this time, especially, Marathwada also, because that is where the Maratha protesters actually started this whole agitation?
See, two things. One, Maharashtra offers a very confused picture. You have Uddhav Thackeray telling his voters to vote for Congress. You have Congress telling his voters to vote for Shiv Sena. You have the BJP telling his voters to vote for Ajit Pawar.
And Nakli Sena, Nakli NCP is
the... It's not a... The two coalitions have numerous internal contradictions. By and large, the BJP has one advantage, the BJP here, because of Mr. Modi. So in seats where the BJP is contesting, it will probably start with some advantage. But there's also an interesting battle within the NDA. There's a battle between Shinde and Ajit Pawar. Okay, which of them can do better vis-a-vis the faction they've left behind? Because that will determine the hierarchy going into the assembly election.
Yes.
So that actually is a more interesting battle to watch than the overall battle.
Yeah, because that will probably determine the future of Maharashtra politics. We don't know which party is which faction is going to survive.
As we start wrapping this up, Aarti, I just had a larger question for you. We are well more than halfway through these elections seat-wise. It's going to all be announced on the 4th of June. Do you see these elections as one where there isn't one dominant theme, which is dominating discourse? If you look at the BJP and what the Prime Minister has been saying, there are so many issues. If you look at what the India Alliance is saying, they've been attacking them primarily, but it's not necessarily on just one issue. And it's different from 2019.
So the thing is that not one issue, but it seems to be, the issues seem to be disconnected from ground reality. If you talk to people, the issues that are at the top of their minds are things like inflation, unemployment, lack of education and health infrastructure. These are the things that they talk about. But if you see the speeches the leaders are giving, they're just attacking each other. They're sort of, talking above the heads of, people on the ground. And, which is why I think it's becoming very, and it's becoming also one very interesting thing that I've noticed in this election, because of the lack of a single overall issue like we had in 2019. The issues are becoming the elections are becoming very localized. Sort of from constituency to constituency, where local issues are mattering, where caste combinations are beginning to matter, things like that. And that is why I think it's becoming difficult to get a clear sense of which way this election is moving.
Ashok,
obviously the BJP is in pole position, but, when the election started, it seemed to be a done deal. Suddenly today, it doesn't seem to be a done deal, even though the BJP is ahead.
Look, I still feel the BJP is starting with and is still there with numerous advantages. One, there's been a lot of conversation about the BJP reaching out to its core voters. Now we need to recognize that the sheer quantum of the BJP's core voters, both in absolute numbers, obviously our populations have increased, and also as a percentage of the overall electorate, has increased in the past 10 years. And that is the great Modi increment he's brought to the BJP. So the sheer number of the BJP's committed voters has increased. Second, a 7-week election, a 7-phase election, almost 2 months, is frankly proving to be tedious. Now, you could argue that this was as true in 2019. It was. 2019, offered a few more emotional issues, Balakot, the whole idea of Modi as an insurgent candidate, which was easy to sell in after 5 years, less easy to sell after 10 years, became a factor. Also, over the 7-phase election, in the heat of India, without a big national theme, with just the idea that continuity is good.
People are losing interest?
You need a new hook to attract people every day. It's almost become like reality TV.
Yes.
The campaign has, not the election. No. I think people have made up their minds who to vote for, one way or the other, whoever, which in different states. And they're just going through the motions of 7 weeks of lots of speeches.
But Shama, at least Maharashtra Congress seems to be quite in a bad position because most leaders have left the party and the party contesting just on 17 seats.
No, that's...
your own leaders have spoken against it, right?
See, we're contesting on 17 seats because we just didn't want to have issues there. We wanted to have the alliance. And I'm telling you today, Maharashtra is going to be the biggest surprise because Maharashtra... There is a lot of sympathy for Sharad Pawarji as well as Uddhav Thackeray. So you will see that the Maha Vikas Aghadi is going to do very well. Number one. Number two, I just want to say, Aarti was saying that leaders are attacking each other. When I hear Rahul Gandhi, he talks about the Mahalakshmi scheme. He talks about employment, Pehli Naukri Pakki, how 30 lakh employments will be filled up in the central government scheme. But whereas the other person only talks about how to, hatred, dividing. I'm asking today, Nalin is sitting next to me. Why not talk about what you have done in the last 10 years? That is the best thing.
That's what the BJP has been doing.
Why is that?
It's not that they aren't doing that. This entire election campaign started entirely on talk about development.
Every other day, what we hear is about dividing two communities. That's what I hear. Okay. And also about the faces. In 1984, after the assassination of Indira Gandhi, the election was held in 3 phases. 3 faces at that point of time. Okay. Why 7 faces? And I also want to say that you asked, where is the election commission? What am I saying?
I didn't ask. They aren't here on this program, but you've been asking.
But I want to say it's sitting next to me.
To be fair, look, I don't think you can have elections in 3 phases now. Okay, to be fair. And I think you need multiple phases. You need multiple phases in 2 phases.
Everybody,
BJP wants one nation, one election.
I'm out of time. We can have this argument later on, but we are out of time.
Let him finish his point.
No, we are out of time. Hello. Television.
An important point.
We are out of time on this show. Apologies to all of you. I'd like to thank our viewers very much for being with us. It is absolutely fascinating one way or the other, but I suspect at this stage all of us want to get to the 4th of June sooner than later.
But the next phase is going to be interesting. Mumbai elections and Raebareli Amethi.
Absolutely. We'll take a short break. More coming up.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Elections क्या हैं?
Election is basically a reality TV show जिससे Big Boss चुना जाता है. The biggest festival of democracy.
मेला है मेला.
हमारी आवाज.
Youth की आवाज. They make hashtags become a voting trend. They communicate their political views with memes. They turn their real ideas into reels. Youth makes elections a lot more fun, and we have just the right election shows for them. As India goes for its 18th general elections, join me, Arun Singh, for 18 Ka Vote only on NDTV. First-time voters, share your hopes and expectations from the leaders in the form of a video message. We'll feature select videos on NDTV.
36 lakh farmer families affiliated with Amul across 18,600 villages of Gujarat have pledged to vote with their families during these elections. I would also urge you to take this pledge and vote as a part of the democratic process of our country.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
The 2024 Lok Sabha polls are crucial for the future of this country. Having covered elections for 35 years, I hope to cut through the cacophony of a long, hot summer campaign and help to understand and decode the issues, the challenges, and finally, the outcome.
As citizens of this great nation, we have the power to shape its future. And one of the most crucial ways we can do that is by casting our vote. It's not just a right for every citizen, it's a responsibility. A responsibility to ourselves, to our communities, and to our country. So, I urge all of you to exercise your right to vote. I always ensure that I fulfill this duty to our country.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24x7.
Hello, Moto.
Storm and sandstorm cause havoc in Mumbai. 8 people are dead, over 60 injured. Civic body says several people might be feared trapped under a collapsed hoarding. Maharashtra government orders a high-level probe. Airports have resumed operations after disruption. Prime Minister Modi campaigns in his constituency Varanasi as he holds a roadshow ahead of his nomination for the 3rd time in a row. Polling complete in 70% of the Lok Sabha seats. Elections completed in all southern states. 62.9% voter turnout in Phase 4. From checking voter IDs to slapping voters, Neta's Dadagiri in full display in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. The shameful acts caught on camera. JDS MLA HD Revanna, father of Hassan MP Prajwal Revanna, facing rape charges, granted bail
in a sexual harassment case. His judicial custody was to end on Tuesday. Still no sign of the Hassan MP, who is yet to appear before the investigating team. Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24x7. I'm Osama Shah. Our top story: rains and gusty winds lashed parts of Mumbai and neighbouring metropolitan areas, disrupting metro and local train services. Mumbai airport operations were also suspended temporarily. It was a storm havoc in Mumbai. BMC has said that around 100 people are believed to be trapped under falling hoardings. Several people were injured as hoardings fell due to dust storms. Now, IMD Mumbai has issued a nowcast warning forecasting a thunderstorm accompanied by lightning and moderate to intense spells of rain for Thane, Palghar as well as Mumbai. Metro services were suspended between RA and Andheri East metro stations after a banner landed on the overhead wire due to strong winds. A spokesperson from the Metro Rail said. Now, Uddhav Thackeray's rally and public meeting was cancelled due to rain and storm. A meeting was organized in Dombivli on Monday evening to campaign for candidate Vaishali Darikar from Kalyan Lok Sabha constituency.
जिस प्रकार का ये होर्डिंग था और उसमें किस प्रकार की परमिशन उन्होंने ली थी कि नहीं ली थी, ये सारी चीज़ों की अब जांच होगी। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने एक और बात के आदेश दिए हैं कि पूरे मुंबई में जो बड़े होर्डिंग्स है उसका एक प्रकार से ऑडिट कल से बीएमसी शुरू करेगी। इस प्रकार का खतरा कहाँ है उसको ढूंढकर उसको उससे पहले मिटिगेट करना, ये भी एक प्राथमिकता हमारी होगी। जिसने कोताही की है उन सब के ऊपर कार्रवाई होगी।
एक्चुअली सर मैं वहीं पे था, तूफान वगैरह चल रहा था तो गाड़ी हम लोग ने साइड में पार्क करी। वहाँ पे तूफान की वजह से हम लोग थोड़ा रेस्ट करे, बारिश वगैरह ज्यादा था ना वो टाइम पे, तो और मेरा फ्रेंड वहाँ पे थोड़ा स्टे करने के लिए गए तो रैंडमली हादसा हो गया। तूफान आ गया, ऊपर जो एडवर्टाइजमेंट का बोर्ड था ना कोई बिल्डर का, वो नीचे आ गया। उसके ऊपर जो पार्टीशन वगैरह था सब गिर गया। नीचे जितनी पब्लिक थी, 4 व्हीलर थी, 2 व्हीलर थी, सब स्टक हो गए। सब आप अपनी जान बचा रहे थे, उसमें बच्चे लोग थे, फीमेल थे, बहुत सारे लोग थे, तो उनका बहुत सारा नुकसान हो गया। हमने हमारी जान बचाने से पहले लोगों को कोऑपरेट करा, वहां से बाहर निकाला है। उसके बाद भी हम लोग कैसे बाहर निकले, तो जो भी नुकसान हुआ रहेगा, किसी का कुछ दिक्कत हुई रहेगी तो उसका क्लेम होना चाहिए।
Yeah, the rescue operation seems to be very complicated for NDRF and fire brigade because it is very, very important to use the gas cutters precisely because this is a gas and a petrol station. So fire brigade and NDRF is taking major steps that other people doesn't get harmed because of this, so it is taking bit of time. There are many other instruments bought by BMC and fire brigade over here to cut that metal sheet which has fallen on the petrol pump, and inside there when this incident happened there were more than 100 people. Right now the number that we are getting is 8 people has found dead inside and 70 people has been rescued. There are more 25 to 30 people which are trapped inside this metal sheet. You can see the metal sheet is 6 to 7 kilos. The single metal sheet is 6 to 7 kilos. This is a very patchy situation for BMC and fire brigade and NDRF to keep people safe who has came here to just see. Plus they have to save the people who is inside and who is trapped. The main thing right now the fire brigade and NDRF is doing, they are creating a space from where they can go inside and they can help the people who are alive, because the metal sheet that you are seeing, it's very heavy. You can see how fire brigade is using the crane to lift this metal sheet up, so you can imagine how heavy it would be. Still Mumbai police is also here. They are trying their best out to keep people away from this incident area. You can see there are 100 of Mumbai police people over here. Still other machineries has been also bought by has been here by BMC, and ambulances are also here. If they are finding any injured person over here, they are getting medical treatment right away on the spot, and after that they are taking the injured person to hospital. Still the rescue operation is on. It's been more than 4 to 5 hours and still they are trying to save as much life they can save.
All right, so rains and gusty winds lashed out parts of Mumbai. There was a lot of disruption with respect to the metro and the local train services as well. The Mumbai airport, their operations were also suspended temporarily. That is also back. It was a storm havoc in Mumbai. The BMC has said that around 100 people are believed to be trapped under falling hoardings. Now, Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, he has spoken on the situation. Let's listen in.
घटना बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण घटना है और ये पहले तो रेस्क्यू करना ज़रूरी है और रेस्क्यू टीम यहाँ काम कर रही है। आज लगभग 57 लोगों को बाहर निकाला है और राजावाड़ी हॉस्पिटल में दाखिल हुए हैं, उनके ऊपर उपचार शुरू है और रेस्क्यू टीम और भी कई गाड़ियाँ यहाँ पर फंसी हुई है, उनको निकालना ये हमारी प्रायोरिटी है और जो भी क्रेन है, हाइड्रा है, सब यहाँ पर लगाया और अभी जो जितने भी होर्डिंग है मुंबई में उसका स्पेशल ऑडिट हो, स्ट्रक्चरल ऑडिट हो, जो विदाउट लाइसेंस विदाउट परमिशन है उनको काट दिया जाए, उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई की जाए और जो आज इसके लिए जो जिम्मेदार है उसके ऊपर सदोष मनुष्यवध का गुना दाखिल करने की भी सूचना की।
सर, जो घायल हुए हैं और
घायल जो है उनका पूरा उपचार जो है गवर्नमेंट करेगी। जिनकी मृत्यु हुई है उनके परिवार को तत्काल मुख्यमंत्री सहायता निधि से 5 लाख रुपए का प्रावधान किया जाएगा। लेकिन देखिए ऐसी घटना दोबारा ना हो, इसके लिए मैंने महापालिका आयुक्त, डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट, पुलिस को सूचना दी हुई है कि ये तत्काल इसका स्पेशल ऑडिट हो। जैसे किरीट समझ पहले आपने भी पत्र दिया है, तो जहाँ जहाँ ऐसी परिस्थिति है उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई हो।
सर, सीएम साहब
It was a sea of saffron in Varanasi as Prime Minister Modi conducted his roadshow. Prime Minister will be filing his nomination on Tuesday as he seeks a third term from Varanasi. Remember, Prime Minister Modi won in 2014 and 2019 and he is now aiming for a hat-trick. It was a mix of religion, culture and politics in the temple town on Monday. Almost 62.9% of eligible voters have casted their vote for the fourth phase of the ongoing Lok Sabha elections in 96 Lok Sabha constituencies across 10 states and union territories. Polling is now complete in 70% of the Lok Sabha seats. The elections have now been completed in all southern states. When you talk about Jammu and Kashmir, Srinagar witnessed the highest turnout in 2 decades with 36.7% polling. There is a significant drop in voter turnout in Odisha in comparison to 2019. Now, this phase was dominated by non-aligned parties like Naveen Patnaik's Biju Janata Dal and YS Jaganmohan Reddy's YSR Congress. Neither party has officially joined the ruling dispensation or the opposition bloc, though they have given issue-based support to the central government multiple times in the parliament. It was also the Great Battle of Bengal, as the state saw violent clashes on camera between the BJP and TMC supporters. The key opposition leaders contesting included TMC's Mahua Moitra, who is hoping to get back in the parliament after a suspension, Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav, Congress's Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, TMC's Shatrughan Sinha and National Conference's Omar Abdullah. They were also in the fray. My colleagues Saurabh Gupta and Ratnadeep Chaudhary get us this extensive report.
Well, this was a sensitive booth and the BJP candidate Dilip Ghosh, who is contesting from Bardhaman Durgapur against Kirti Azad of the Trinamool Congress, had shared a few very cordial moments, earlier in the day when both of them came together. They met each other while crossing paths and shook hands and even exchanged a hug. But things went south post that when supporters clashed earlier in the day, and then when we arrived at the Kalna Gate area, Dilip Ghosh was on his way to a sensitive booth. Now, as he entered the narrow bylanes of that sensitive booth and that sensitive area, there were slogans of "Go Back," and these were presumably Trinamool supporters because they were raising slogans that seemed to be from there. But obviously, Dilip Ghosh continued, and then of course these supporters got more aggressive. And then what we saw later was that there was some kind of sloganeering. And when the convoy was leaving, at that time, of course, there was some stone pelting and an attack with a stick. And in that, of course, several security forces, cars were damaged, but also some media cars were damaged, and one of the security men, received an injury on his head because of a stone. He had to take shelter in the car that we were traveling in. And then, of course, our camera person also was hit by a stone in the leg. But, things managed to be, the cars made a dash towards safer places from there. And unfortunately, the day ended on that note, violent note. But otherwise, there were sporadic incidents throughout the day.
Perhaps Naveen Patnaik faces one of the toughest poll battle in his political career as his government completes 25 years in power. Remember, now the BJP, which has been once an ally, is posing a political challenge, and these 4 seats which went to poll, we were at Baharampur, which is one seat where there is a key fight between 2 turncoats. Pradeep Panigrahi, who was a former minister of the BJD, once a close aide of Naveen Patnaik, he is the BJP candidate there, and Bhrigu Bakshipatra, who was the top leader of the BJP, is the BJD candidate. So there are a lot of leaders who have switched sides, even in the state polls. Remember, there are 147 seats, out of which 28 seats have gone to polls. And the mood that we saw among the voters, despite temperatures rising, we did see participation, good participation from the voters, the large turnout of women, and perhaps women are seen as a strong vote bank of the BJD. Whether the BJP, PM Modi's call for change has been able to erode that vote bank is something that we'll have to watch for when the results come in. But with this phase, perhaps in Odisha, what has happened is that this fight between, in one side, Naveen Patnaik's words of development, his 24 guarantees that he has given in his manifesto, to BJP's high-pitched campaign and this call for change. This battle has started, and this will continue for another 3 phases.
On to Jammu and Kashmir. It was the first major election in Kashmir after scrapping off Jammu and Kashmir's special status under Article 370. And the Union Territory saw a record turnout of 36.7% as compared to 2019, where the turnout was a dismal 14.4%. This is in fact the highest voter turnout since 1998. But do these numbers indicate the end of election boycott politics in the valley? My colleague Nazir Masoodi decodes.
People waiting for their turn to vote in Pulwama, the hotbed of terrorism. Till a few years ago, in last parliament elections, Pulwama had recorded just 1% polling. Today, voters beat election boycott tradition in the valley before electing their new MP from Srinagar constituency. Ghulam Mohiuddin Mir, National Conference leader, has survived over a dozen attacks for defending democracy. He says today's vote is a tribute to hundreds of political workers, including his father, who were killed for choosing democracy over militancy. As Mir came to cast his vote at this booth, it was a chilling reminder how he survived a major terrorist attack in the same premises in 2018.
यहाँ जहाँ आप इस वक्त खड़े हैं, ये वही जगह है जहाँ मैंने बाहर जो मुझ पर अटैक भी हुआ है, जहाँ एक मेरा PSO भी उस वक्त मारा गया है। यहाँ सैकड़ों वर्कर हमारे जो खासकर नेशनल काउंसिल के वापस थे, एक्स-एमएलए रहे हैं। मेरा खुद फादर जो एक्स-एमएलए रहा है, उसको 1994 में इसी गांव के मुरन में उसको यहाँ शहीद किया गया। आज जब लोग निकल रहे हैं और इस वक्त जो मेरे ख्याल में ये सबसे बड़ी श्रद्धांजलि है उन लोगों को।
There are 24 candidates in fray, but the main contest appears to be between National Conference and PDP. Both the parties allege that their workers were detained by police ahead of polling.
एक तरफ से कहते हैं कि इलेक्शन बहुत आज़ादी से हो रहा है, तो मुझे बताइए, मैं होम मिनिस्टर साहब से पूछना चाहता हूँ, प्राइम मिनिस्टर से पूछना चाहता हूँ, हमारे वर्कर्स को क्यों बंद किया गया?
काफ़ी लोग हैं जो इस प्रोसेस को डिरेल करना चाहते हैं, सबवर्ट करना चाह रहे हैं और इस प्रोसेस को रुकाना चाहते हैं स्लो पेस से। हमारे पोलिंग एजेंट्स को अंदर नहीं जाने दिया, कई जगह पर प्रिजाइडिंग ऑफिसर्स की वजह से, कई जगह पर रात को पुलिस ने हमारे वर्करों को उठाया, पोलिंग एजेंट्स को उठाया।
The BJP is not in fray, as the party didn't field any candidate from these 3 seats of the valley.
The first general election in Kashmir after scrapping of Article 370 has literally ended election boycott politics in the valley. its record turnout in Srinagar parliamentary constituency after 3 decades. Today's vote is a tribute to hundreds of political workers in the valley who have sacrificed their lives for their commitment to democracy and right to vote. In Pulwama, Nazir Masoodi for NDTV.
Madhvi Lata, BJP's firebrand candidate from Hyderabad, faces a police case after a video showed her asking burqa-clad Muslim women at a polling booth to reveal their faces so that she can match them with their photographs on their voter ID cards. Meanwhile, the controversy in Andhra Pradesh, where A. Shivakumar, an Andhra Pradesh YSRCP MLA from Tenali, was caught on camera slapping and getting into a brawl with a voter at a polling booth in Tenali. The MLA later claimed that the voter was inebriated and had used casteist remarks against him. However, other reports suggest that the argument was when the voter insisted on the MLA not to break the queue and wait for his turn to cast his vote. Here's a report.
BJP's candidate for Hyderabad Lok Sabha seat, Madhvi Lata, was booked for obstructing the poll process after she decided to herself verify the veracity of voters by asking them to lift the burqa or face veil.
भैया मैं कैंडिडेट हूँ और as per law candidate has a right to check the identity card with the face without the face mask. And if somebody wants to make a big issue out of it, that means that he's scared of it.
The complaint in the case says the voter had returned without voting after Madhvi Lata asked her to go home. The Hyderabad District Election Officer, Mr. Ronald Rose, has clarified to NDTV that no candidate has the right to check and verify the authenticity of voters. That any suspicion needs to be conveyed to the polling officer, who will follow due process. Madhvi Lata's conduct can also be construed as an intrusion of privacy. In Tenali, YSRCP sitting MLA and candidate for the party was caught on camera slapping a voter who apparently objected to his supporters jumping the queue. The voter returned the blow. The voter was subsequently assaulted by the MLA's supporters.
అతను ఆల్కహాల్ కూడా తాగి ఉండాడు ఆ తాగి ఉండి నేను నా భార్య ఓటేయడానికి వెళ్తుంటే కానీ అసభ్య దోషంతో పక్కన నా భార్య నేను ఉన్నప్పుడు అసభ్య దోషంతో మరి ముఖ్యంగా ఏదైతే ఈ చిన్న కులాల్ని బహిరంగంగా తిట్టాడు మాలా మాదిగలకు అండగాసే పార్టీ మైనార్టీలకు అండగాసే పార్టీ ఇట్లాంటి పార్టీలో ఈ లంజోడుగా అసలు కమ్మాడేలా వీడు కమ్మాడేలా ఈ మాటలో.
What we are saying to the election commission and police forces, we have to control these kind of things because the voter has every right to ask the MLA to come in the line. If he doesn't want to, at least he should explain rather than slapping on the face.
An FIR was booked against the ruling party MLA and his supporters, even as TDP said it was classic high-handedness of YSRCP rulers. With inputs from Tenali in Hyderabad with camera person Nagaraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
Time now for a very short break. More news and updates on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
Storm and sandstorm caused havoc in Mumbai as 8 people die, 64 injured. Civic body says several people might be feared trapped under a collapsed hoarding. Maharashtra government orders a high-level probe. Airports have resumed operations after disruption. PM Modi campaigns in his constituency Varanasi as he holds a roadshow ahead of his nomination for the 3rd time in a row. Polling complete in 70% of the Lok Sabha seats. Elections now complete in all southern states. 62.9% voter turnout in phase 4. From checking voter IDs to slapping voters, Neta's Dadagiri in full display. In Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, the shameful acts caught on camera.
Brought to you by LIC, हर पल आपके साथ.
In our country,
We choose our leaders, we decide who is going to be ruling the country, and it is something which is both a fantastic right, privilege, and we should also see it as our constitutional duty. So this election, I am going to be there, and I hope you all will join me in casting your vote too.
Data drives our understanding of any election. What does a dip in voting percentage mean? What are the big factors to watch out for this poll season? Join me, Amitav Tiwari, in a data deep dive only on NDTV, where we decode and simplify the data for you.
The biggest carnival of democracy, India's general election.
Prime Minister Modi makes a formidable bid for a hat-trick.
The opposition is trying to mount a united challenge.
And the southern parties are standing their ground.
As battle lines are drawn,
join us on an exciting journey on the road to 2024.
Indian elections, a festival like no other.
And NDTV covers elections like no other.
When India votes, you can count on us.
It's the essence of democracy, and we stand firmly behind it. We are thrilled to join NDTV's pledge.
It's the world's biggest festival of the power of a vote and the power of a citizen.
It is a day we must answer our call to duty as citizens of India.
We get this opportunity to determine how our country will be governed.
It is this constitutional duty through which we can make a difference in our nation's future.
And make India always a better place than it was yesterday.
I certainly plan to vote